and welcome to the Horror House Podcast. I'm Dave.
Am I Chris? I'm Chris.
You're Chris.
I'm Jeff.
Who are you?
I'm Tim.
We have a guest. A long time guest, first time guest.
I've been here before.
You have been here before. We're so out of practice with the show, I don't know the order of our names at the beginning anymore. It was just me and Dave last week.
I assume that I go last.
You could squeeze in there. Go with what you feel.
Just let's try again.
I'm Dave.
I'm Tim.
I'm Jeff.
Fuck it.
My name was already said. I don't have to worry about saying it.
Well, and I got my friend Flyboy behind me too. Don't leave him out.
If nobody saw the episode last week, Dave was in a cave for the entire episode, and occasionally Jason Voorhees would reveal himself behind Dave. It was a better special effect than I've seen in 20 years.
Unintentional effects.
I loved it.
That is top notch.
But today, this evening, whenever you're watching it, we're talking about Dawn of the Dead 2004, the remake. The modern, it's not even modern anymore. It's almost
20 years old, dude.
It's almost as old as the original was when it was made.
Yeah.
So, hello, fellow old people in this podcast. We made it.
This movie will be legally allowed to drink this year.
Yeah. It is, which sucks. The reason that I'm here is because this is, I think, maybe the only horror movie that Chris and I saw in theaters together. I think
it probably is.
Probably, yeah. So, that's it. That's actually a fun story in itself, and we'll get into that, I'm sure.
We will. Did you guys see this in the theater back in the day, or did you wait?
This was appointment viewing. So, me, Jake, Malcolm, and we drug all the boys from back in the day, and we're like a month before this come out, like, guys, we are coming to watch Dawn of the Dead theater. All new, all improved. Little did I know, who ever heard of Zack Snyder? What a nerd name.
Written by James Gunn.
James Gunn is the one that stood out to me at the time. I'm like, that's a fake ass name.
Right? Yeah, my name's Dave Guns. That's just my porn name.
I don't have a graphic for that yet. I don't have anything to advertise that OnlyFans.
Speaking
of
like
OnlyFans,
and just says NC-17.
I don't know if you've been on since I put our OnlyFans up in the chat.
Tex ass chainsaw Matt. It should say respectfully, Tex ass chainsaw mass ass acre.
Ain't nobody got time for that. I thought you was gonna say capitalize the ass and massacre, which I would do.
I mean, you could do that too. It should be little M, big ASS. Yeah.
You almost got a spit take.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm nothing if not aesthetically inclined.
I'm gonna wing this, and it probably won't work, but it may. But we have a little bit of news. But I forgot to fix the news screen, so we're gonna try to get the music to the news, and then just come right back here. So let's see. I don't know.
Is it your paperboy hat?
This is my newsy hat.
I like it.
I love that. I love that graphic.
Okay, that worked better than I.
Breaking news.
What is your news, newsboy? with the news.
All right. Tim, we're going to save, you're the special guest. We're going to save your news for the outro of the news.
Good, because I'm assuming that you guys probably have the same news, and then if you say it, I don't have to say it. So
Maybe
we'll
not,
find out.
maybe not.
Let's find
The
out.
First one, really tiny, kind of a bummer, but they released some information today about the upcoming, because it's right around the corner, 28 years later.
Oh.
Cillian Murphy, this is now a trilogy, and Cillian Murphy has been cut from volume 1 of this trilogy. Yeah, I thank you, Chris. Your face says it all. I thought when the undead chap sits up out of the garden and he's all gaunt, I thought that was like real life Cillian Murphy, because 1, he's 60 years old, 2, he's never weighed over 60 pounds, and so I thought that was just him with the shirt off.
That's
But
like one of those
apparently there is a
paparazzi
special effect.
one of those paparazzi shots with while he's on vacation.
Yeah, with his 19-year-old girlfriend.
Is he one of those? I'm pouring
He's in
whiskey. I'm not
Hollywood.
pissing. I swear to
He's in
God.
Hollywood.
I swear. Look. Anyways,
So what? I'm sorry. What movie is this?
28 years later.
He got cut from that?
So he is in this new trilogy, is kind of what it. I don't know.
Oh,
why.
there's a new trilogy coming out?
Yes. So 28 years later is the first one of this. It's going to be a 3-parter.
Okay.
And he like made a big deal because Danny Boyle is directing all 3 again. So he directed
Yeah.
the original. He's
No,
back.
I knew he was coming back. I was pretty excited about this.
Like they advertised the shit out of it. Hey, Spider Boy, Cillian Murphy is in the new one. Yeah, and more cricket now with 100% more crickety with Cillian Murphy, because he is part cricket, part spider in real life, a human hybrid. But apparently he is not in this, and I know they said he was, so I wonder if like in final editing they was like, okay, maybe he was just a cameo, or maybe he was just a tease with more story coming later and has been removed.
Are they gonna
in
Luke Skywalker him at the end of the movie? Just have him turn around and it's him and not say a word.
Right.
they could do it like like WWE does returns of super popular wrestlers, and they're their first match. It's like a tag match, and they don't get tagged in. They get teased. They don't get into the match until almost the end to get the big. But really, it should just be people sighing, which I imagine is what I would like to believe that they're going to do with Cillian Murphy. Is like he'll just show up towards the end and be like, everybody will be like, "Why weren't you in the rest of the fucking movie?" Is what I would say.
That sounds reasonable. Jeff, where are we at on this news?
I'm really confused.
I'm in the weeds. I'm with you.
You can't thumbs it
I
up
am there.
or down.
I am also.
He's in the
confused
movie,
now.
yes. If he's not, okay.
If he's not in the movie, I'm fine. But if he was supposed to be in it and now he's not, that's confusing to me.
Right.
Yeah.
So, the next thing I got, just a tiny little thing. They have been working on a Running Man remake. I love the original Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger. The Stephen King book is nothing like the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, except for the barest part of plot line of a criminal on the run as part of a game show. But the Stephen King book, or short story, it's actually a Bachman short story, is so much more dystopian future, which is what the remake is promising to be. More about the dystopian future that it lies in wait for us these next couple decade.
We've gotten past the preteen dystopian fever, so now we're going into adult dystopian fever.
Yeah, yes.
Gotcha.
We've aged out. Coleman Domingo has been cast as the game show host. And he's been in a lot of movie stuff. And he's a famous character actor. I should have IMDb'd him, because when you see him, I know you will know him.
I mean, is he going to be as good as the Family Feud guy?
I the Family Feud guy's so cheesy, which is great, but this is gonna be better. He was in a couple episodes. Oh, Fear the Walking Dead. Yeah, he was in Fear the Walking Dead. Currently he's in the Madness limited episode TV series.
We don't watch the Fear the Walking Dead.
Who? Luke Skywalker. Candyman. He was in the new Candyman. So BoJack Horseman. That's for you, Jeff.
Why are we still talking about this
Yeah.
man? Nobody knows who's. You quit making him try it happen, Dave. Are you his publicist?
I'm being paid. Hashtag absolutely a sponsor. Moving on.
Okay.
That news failed. Jeff, don't bother. I know Jeff's getting ready to thumbs down that news.
I've not gave Jeff his title back from last week, so I'm gonna thumbs that down just because you were a secret publicist.
I'm being paid on the slide, man. Daddy needs a new pair of shoes. There is a new trailer for Companion. Jeff, do you remember this trailer from when we went to see Terrifier 3? The one with the hot new kid from the Scream 6 and the girl where he's got her handcuffed in his house and he's got a candle and she's holding her hand out and her hand's on fire and it's like starts off like a love story from the producers of The Notebook and stuff, and then it turns like a what the fuck horror. The new trailer gives more of the story away. So this kid, he's the new Nicholas Hoult, I feel like.
Nah, I messed the joke up. I should have put ending soon, but I didn't. That's on me.
Okay. Jack Quaid and Sophie Thatcher star in The Companion. It is from the writers of Barbarian.
Jack Quaid from The Boys?
Yes. Yep.
Nice.
Jack Quaid, a la Randy?
I don't believe so. He doesn't look like the Quaid, so
he's Meg Ryan and the most famous Quaid's son.
Randy, isn't it Randy? Or is it Dennis?
No.
It's
John.
Dennis Quaid, yeah. Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan.
Frederick. Which one is it, Jeff?
Frederick von Musselstein.
Quaid.
DeRollo.
Quaid.
That's for my Critical Role fans out there. Yes. Quaid. Yeah.
So in the new trailer, we find out that Sophie Thatcher is a high-tech sex robot that Mr. Quaid has jailbroke the robot. And she gets a hold of her own little controls, turns her intelligence and aggressiveness way up, and murders his friends or some shit. Like it's going to be bizarre. It's going to be fucked up. I'm going to be there. I think it looks great. Like I said, the writers.
I like Jack Quaid a lot, so I'll probably watch that one.
Okay.
I think he's hilarious, and his acting style is just absolutely top notch.
Yeah,
So.
he's got this very like everyman kind of
Yes.
deadpanish thing. So
Absolutely, he plays a straight man in a not straight scenario very well, which is hard for a lot of people to do, in my opinion.
which is hard
So,
for a gay man.
yeah, for sure.
Have you seen those the 5-second films? I want to say it was 5-second films. They had the people from Dead Meat were on there, and their thing was, "I got you a Jack Quaid. I got you a Jack Quaid for Christmas. Let's make them fuck." And then the one's like, "Yes." End of the skit. But then, like, just this past Christmas, that was like a year or two ago when that one came out. But this last Christmas, there was a new one. And I can't even remember the concept because the first one was so powerful. How can you top it? But it got up there. I just haven't had time to really process it. But it's as good. It's just
Jack Quaid just shows up and fucks a Jack Quaid.
No,
doll.
there's a Jack Quaid and a Jack Quaid and a Jack Quaid vibrator.
Oh.
And then
There you go.
I think they said, like, what are they doing up there? And one's like, I don't know, but it smells like shit. Something like that. I forget.
Very classy.
End of
Very
the
classy.
skit. And it
Day
was,
Class A.
Okay, Jeff, what's our rating on the new Companion trailer? Just from what I verbally have told you, what's your excitement for Companion?
Oh,
Thumbs
definitely.
up. What's your excitement
Yeah.
for Jack Quaid on Jack Quaid sex with Jack Quaid sex toys?
Yeah, no.
No, okay, he's out. Last, I think this will get some of us blood boiling because season 1 got my blood. Last of
They
Us
got your
season
mind
2,
boiling, too.
new
Wow.
trailer is out. We have a release April 2025. Last of Us season 2. I hope Pedro Pascal is in more than just the first episode.
Why wouldn't he be?
I don't know. I'm not saying he shouldn't be. I'm not trying to ruin nobody's good time here.
He go on
I'm just saying he's a
vacation?
big time star. He's got to take time off to film Fantastic Four.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
So, Last of Us season 2. Show of
down.
hands. Who's excited? I don't want a thumbs up or down.
yeah.
Who's excited for season 2?
Oh yeah, Jen and I loved the first season.
First
of
season was
God,
great.
it
Last of
was
Us.
so good. It was so good.
I think-
Pedro Pascal is a weird actor. Like
In what
he
way?
is, like
Hispanic?
he very much has that Johnny Depp sort of like chameleon aspect to him, right? Like he encompasses the character that he's playing, right? Like if I would have seen Joel, like Pedro Pascal Joel, and he told me he played the Viper in Game of Thrones, if I didn't know that it was him, I've been like, those can't be the same fucking
Yeah.
actor. And then I don't know if you guys have seen The Kingsman and the Golden Circle.
Yes.
He plays a
in that.
Texan sort of assassin.
Yep.
And he's fucking phenomenal in that too.
Plays Maxwell
So
Lord
he's
in the
just
second Wonder Woman movie that I've not watched. I don't know if
I
he's
haven't
good
seen
in
the
it.
second Wonder Woman
I
with
just
Evil,
know
yeah.
he's in it.
But he's just a weird sort of chameleon. So, and I like that about actors. I've cooled on Johnny Depp since he's turning into more and more of a weirdo. But
You seen him when he's fresh shaved? That's spooky.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, like he don't look old as long as he's got his little goatee. When he shaves that off, it's like
He
somebody
all
let
bets are off.
the nursing home open for free and let him go out. It's weird.
Did you watch The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent with Pedro Pascal?
No, I want to. I need to see that, and I need to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Those are two that I have been.
I haven't seen that. I
seen
I
that.
really want to. I really do want to.
I do too.
Dave,
It's Quentin
Dave, I'm
Tarantino.
cautioning you as a
It's
Bruce Lee
17
fan.
hours long.
As a Bruce Lee fan, Dave, you should not watch. You shouldn't. You shouldn't.
Oh,
I'm worried about that. I'm worried about that. I know they have.
The rest of it's fine, but that I would caution you against, or to go in prepared at least. Sorry.
they should have like a Bruce Lee cut.
Are you a Bruce Lee fan? Yeah.
Skip this entire section of the movie.
Let me put it to you like this, Dave. Who do you think would win in a fight, Brad Pitt or Bruce Lee?
Come
I
on
don't-
now.
I don't think there's a fight there.
I don't either. But I'll tell you who did think there was a fight there.
Bruce Lee was the last real deal of like, because old school Hollywood guys, some of them were real fucking bruisers.
Have you heard of Dwayne the Rock Johnson?
Bruce Lee
I'm
would
joking.
fucking slap him so hard his grandma would get a
I'm
migraine.
double joking.
What about that Donnie guy from IP Man?
Donnie Yen,
Yeah, isn't he like legit?
I think he's pretty good.
Him and Jet Li, I thought were like legit martial artists.
Okay, you may be right, but that
Yeah.
even then they're not. I don't know that they're on Bruce Lee's level.
Oh
So,
no, I don't think anyone will ever be on Bruce Lee's level.
Yeah. Danny Dos Santo, nunchucks are not Chinese weapons. Nunchucks are Filipino weapons.
Yeah, that
And
makes
also
sense.
Ninja Turtle, I believe.
And Ninja Turtle weapons.
Pat on the
Danny Dos Santo was considered the world's expert. Like he was the world's badass, real life badass of nunchucks and Filipino fighting arts. And he taught Bruce Lee. He said, "Come over and I'll teach you. You can teach me some Wing Chun, and I'll teach you nunchucks and Filipino stick fighting." And so after one session, Bruce Lee took a pair of nunchucks home, and Danny Dos Santos said a week later when Bruce Lee came back, Bruce Lee taught him stuff. So
yeah, the dude was there was something wrong with him for sure.
oh
Like,
yeah, I mean, he was broken in a weird way, like
yeah,
as driven as they come.
yeah. No, I'm pretty sure he was on some sort of on the spectrum in some sort of grand way.
I don't have my science
Yeah,
pin,
he
so I
was-
can't speak on that.
Thank you, thank you, Dr. Scientist.
Maybe next time.
That's all my news. Now let's get to our special guest, Tim, and
No,
his
no,
news.
no. I have a piece of
Oh.
news. I watched The Substance. Come at me, internet. Come at me is all I'll say about it. There's my. Come at me. There's my. Come at me. There's my 3-word
Chris.
review.
I'm getting a text from everyone. They said, "Shut the fuck up."
Fuck you, internet. Come get me.
What is this? I'm curious.
The Substance.
The
It's got Demi
Substance.
Moore in it and a bunch of boobies and asses
A bunch of boobies and asses.
and makeup
Gotcha.
that wouldn't fly in 1986. Right, Jeff?
Yep.
Jeff, put that hand down.
I just got slapped in the face by both sides.
Yeah,
That's the new high five. Just slapped him in the face.
way to treat the guest host, man.
I was trying.
Demi
I was
Moore.
trying to pat you earlier, but you didn't. You never saw it.
Oh, I did not see it. Thanks.
Demi Moore won a
Oh,
Golden
shit.
Globe because of this movie.
Listen.
She's not the most substantive actress that has ever
The
been.
acting's not bad. I got some qualms. We may do an episode on it, and Tim, you maybe have to be.
I'll edit because I think it's one of the
Pull
best
into it
body
now.
horrors we've seen in a long time. It's such a beautifully shot movie. The cinematography is amazing.
I don't like body horror.
Well, then you'd be fine with
Personally.
this.
It is fucking disgusting. I love it.
Give us your news. I just had to throw that in there because I've been.
You
stewing
guys
on
may
it.
have already talked about this, but as you guys know, I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. You may or may not know. I don't know. But there's a Netflix documentary coming out. Have you guys talked about this yet?
I read about it, but we've not talked about it.
Okay.
Nope.
So there's a Netflix documentary coming out about the 1998 movie Resident Evil that never came out, that was going to be directed by George A. Romero.
Yep.
There's a bunch of behind the scenes stuff from the actors and stuff like that. But I never knew about this movie. But Google knows me so well that it feeds me news on stuff that it thinks I'll like. That was one of the things that popped up was a new Resident Evil. I think it came out on the 7th.
Oh, it's out.
Yeah.
Oh,
I haven't watched it yet, but I think it came out on the 7th.
Now, he
I'm
did,
very interested to watch it.
prior to this, a commercial or maybe a couple commercials for the first or second Resident Evil game that are kind of Romero-esque, and it gives some kind of an idea of maybe what he would have done at the time. So
they're I'm very, very intrigued to watch it, because I want to know what a not early 2000s
Paul W.S. Anderson would do.
Yeah, like an early 2000s Resident Evil, which, I mean, we saw that, right? And now we're getting ready to talk about an early 2000s undead film. Didn't say it. Dawn of the Dead. And okay, spoiler alert. I fucking love this movie that we're going to review tonight. It is a masterclass in storytelling, and I'll get into why I think that as we go through it. But I want to know, like, George A. Romero is obviously a purist. I mean, he's not even a purist. He is the purest form of this type of film. The original Dawn of the Dead inspired almost every zombie trope you see in movies. So I'm really curious what Resident Evil directed by George A. Romero would have looked like. I think it would have been much more atmospheric. I do like the original, not the original. I do like the Resident Evil movie that came out. Nostalgia only. Like, it was awesome when I was a kid, and I was like, this is fucking great. I'm a huge Resident Evil game fan. So I really dove into I was like, oh, it's Umbrella Corps and like all this stuff. But I am
we have talked
really,
about,
really interested.
We have
to watch
talked
it.
about at least at the time, the
Series.
entire series. It's been, that was like the first season of Horror House. We talked about all the movies in one episode. That was one of our first times we did like a whole series. in an episode, and it was some doing.
You guys, if you guys ever do the games, I have beat every single game except for Village. So
But that maybe have to do that one day.
I think I've beaten every single game except for Village on Pro, actually, including the VR remake. So, yeah, I'm a big Resident Evil fan. So yeah, you guys should watch that because I think it'll be really interesting to see what, because you guys, if you're a fan of horror, you've probably seen Resident Evil. What would it look like if the original Undead Master would have made the movie?
And we'll have even more to say about that man as the night goes on. So let's go ahead and get into it because I'm sure we're going to have a lot to say. So for the next 4 hours, clear your calendars and your clocks. Let's talk about Dawn of the Dead. I got ready to say 2024. 2004.
No. I wish it would have came out last year.
I'm driving to Pennsylvania about 7 o'clock in the morning. So we have actually 10 hours to talk about it. Let's go.
Okay. Yeah. I'll sleep at my desk. That's fine.
Well, I think the first thing to talk about is like, who even would say at some point in time after the original comes out, I mean, a movie as kind of regarded as the original Dawn of the Dead, like, yeah, I can do something that's up there with that. I can rewrite that in a way that my immediate thought would be like, maybe don't do that. Maybe let that one, like The Exorcist, just exist, and maybe don't do that. But
well, I mean, it's this director's first shot, right? So he's hungry. He's given the opportunity to do this. He was probably one of the only directors that said yes to take on this monumental task. Like, more seasoned directors were probably like, nah, pass. Like, not going to try and compete with that. Horror fans are a different breed. Like, they will destroy this movie if it's not good. Like, they'll drag my name through the mud for years to come. So that's probably why it was a unknown director at the time.
I think.
Side note real quick, your quick trivia hit. This is the only movie that Zack Snyder has directed not for Warner Brothers.
Was his new Star Wars ripoffs Warner Brothers?
Who?
His new Star Wars ripoffs, whatever they're called. I've not watched them. The Netflix movies. Rebel Moon is a Warner Brothers produced. Are Warner Brothers, really? I figured after the DCU, him and Warner Brothers would.
No, apparently they're still super tight. And apparently,
interesting.
After for every James Gunn DC movie, they're going to release a Snyder Cut.
Thanks for joining us. I don't have a beer.
There are some die-hard Snyder fans, man.
There are some weird fucking Snyder fans. If you're in the current Superman, James Gunn Superman world, there are some weird Snyder people. Nathan
Fillion, Green Lantern. That's throwing me for a loop, but we won't get into that. I'm sorry.
I jizzed in my pants.
Yeah.
Anyways, I pulled out my crypto action figure a couple weeks ago, talking about how I was going to leave the horror house in the summer to do my own Superman podcast. People still think I'm joking. I get emails all the time. But before this, James Gunn, funny enough, the writer for this, would have done Romeo and Juliet, which I don't know if that was his first thing, but it's one of his first things for Troma. He did a few other working for Troma kind of jobs. But I think this was perhaps his first big thing that he was involved in. And to fast forward sometime into the future, a couple years ago, we get Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, which they were vehemently against it being, this is not a sequel to Dawn of the Dead, folks. And I'm like, fuck you. It's a Zack Snyder movie with zombies. This is my sequel to Dawn of the Dead that I've wanted for 20 years. You're fucking lying to me. No, it wasn't. But you can see where the muscle of the story went. That's missing from that, and it's a James.
So
if I ever meet him, I'm gonna say James, and he'll know.
We might have to do an episode on Army of the Dead because I do like Army of the Dead. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but I do like it.
What's amazing to me is like now that you know that James Gunn wrote this movie, right? And like you look at all of his other like his best work, and it's always like a teamwork story or an ensemble story. Like it's always like he's really good about writing about groups of people working towards a common goal.
Yeah.
And like making them diversified so that they have friction, but also can still like that friction creates fire, but like good fire, right? Like it's
still get
weird.
You get scenes of it working along with the tension of it. So it's not all.
And I mean, and in this movie, like you have it from several different angles, right? As part of like the main ensemble of the cast. What'd you say, Chris? Sorry.
I said there is more than one camera.
There is, but like
it's funnier when it's little.
What I don't want to like. I guess we'll get into it more and more. I wrote my notes and like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 as far as the movie goes.
Shit, you're hardcore.
So that's how I have my notes written here.
Season 1, episode 1 through 4, Chris and Dave would have loved you.
It's how I have them written. So, but no, yeah, like that's the only thing I can think of is like the only people that would have taken on this task, because again, Dawn of the Dead is kind of the gold standard when it comes to undead films. I'm not going to say the word. I'm super good here.
Has anybody said it yet?
You have. You did.
I did?
Chris? Yes, you did. I was going to call it out, and I was like, I don't want to ruin that.
Oh, okay.
You did say it one time.
Okay.
I can start calling it out when you guys say it. It's harsh in my ears because I try so hard not to say it when I dungeon master that whenever I hear the word, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
Okay, so let's get all of our kind of behind the scenes.
Jen goes, "What, zombie?" she knows how.
That's one for her. Me and Jen are tied. I think Zack Snyder is like looking at this movie now, 20 years later, 21 years later, almost. There are parts of it where I'm like, that's 2004 as fuck. There are scenes like there's random slow motion, like just right in the middle of action.
The bullets, he always gets the bullets hitting the ground, and I'm like, what is the point of this fucking 3-second bit?
The only slow motion scene that's cool in this movie, I'll die on my sword, is when he punches the windshield at the beginning. Didn't need any other slow motion shot after that.
Do you think that's why Zombieland had that be the slow motion? The intro
to do that movie.
It's all slow motion, but at the very end, they're crashing through glass.
Could have been inspirational there.
It seems a little on the nose.
Maybe. But during the Andre and Norma shootout, I swear to God, do you remember the SNL like
spoilers?
What you say?
Spoilers.
They should know by now. That's what it was. It's like the Shia. Speaking of which, Tim thinks he looks like Shia LaBeouf. When the SNL skit where they're shooting each other, and then it's like the song, and then they shoot somebody else from another angle, shoots them, and then the song plays, and then from another angle somebody else shoots them, and it's the song plays. That's what the Andre and Norma shootout during the birth scene reminded me of.
It's like the 9 different angles they shot of Liam Neeson and Taken 3 where he has to jump over a fence.
Yes.
And there's like 9 different camera angles for every fucking direction to get him jumping over a fence.
Watch me.
Well, it lengthens the action. Except for that, though, I mean, like, action is what Zack Snyder does well. and this movie is an action movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
can we rewind to the open? I want to talk open.
Okay.
Because to me, the open of this movie is one of the best horror opens imaginable.
100% agree. Which part of the open are you talking about?
From start to finish. So it starts in the hospital, all the
Yeah.
little clues. Guys, every time, why is this guy, why do we do a head CT? For
When he got
a
bit on the
guy who
hand,
got
right?
bit in a bar fight.
Right.
Now he's non-communicative. Where is he at? He's in the ICU. He's working. He's weird. They're doing a tox screen. There's another one when that they don't even talk about. He rolls in on the stretcher and you can see the blood on the neck, foreshadowing
Yep.
her husband. The EMT that's asleep in the back of the ambulance, like all these little clues.
In the ICU
And the first
for a
time I watched
bite?
it, I was fucking steel underpants. My underpants flew off of me in the theater because my dick got so hard. It's like, boom! This is fucking sweet. When the zombie stuff happens, like I'm edging through the whole start, and when that little girl comes.
Hold on, Dave. We don't talk about edging and then saying when the little girl comes in. Okay.
When the little girl with her mouth, the makeup was so good and it was so subtle. You know what you're going to see, but when she walks out of the shadow and you can see her face fucked up was so good. And when she
fun
grabbed
fact,
her off, yeah, go ahead.
I paused the movie because I was curious. The first zombie bite of the movie happens 5 minutes into the movie. 5 minutes in, first zombie bite.
The little girl?
Like yes, it is almost exactly 5 minutes into the movie. And I think that was by design. Like, obviously to have it happen soon was by design, but I think the fact that it happens like on the 5 minute mark is very interesting. But yeah, 5 minutes in and
It's Zack Snyder and his
shit
fucking
kicks
math
off.
rock. Gotta be.
Yeah. But yeah,
Jeff, what do you
her
think of the
makeup is
intro?
phenomenal. But I think the real oh fuck moment in the whole intro there is when she fucking throws that little girl down the hallway
And
she hops up on those spider legs and just starts fucking bolting, right? Because that's like one of the first fast zombie movies.
Yep.
I mean,
And
No.
it was not 28 Days Later was kind of the first of that.
No.
You also just
No.
called it a Z
Chris knows
movie.
more.
No.
Well, what's the first one, Chris?
No. I don't know what the first one is, but we had fast zombies all the way back. 1985 in Return of the Living Dead.
Return of the Night of the Living Dead.
In the 1969 Night of the
Were
Living
they
Dead, we
running
had
down?
parkour undead. I still have not said the Z word. Got you guys.
Have I said it again? I probably said it again. I'll go back.
I did say the word. I said fast moving. Yeah, fast moving Z word.
Jeff,
Jeff.
What do you feel about the intro? Jump in here.
Get in there, Jeff.
I mean, it's good. It starts off with the after the hospital scene. It starts with stereophonics. Have a nice day. You know, she's driving back to her house, and it's like the perfect little life. You know,
Suburbs.
Yep.
Yeah. To add on to that, there's a lot of little hints. Dave was talking about the little hints that they, the tox screening. Why is he in the ICU if he only got bit on the hand? He's unresponsive. Like, why? That's so weird. I don't know. We'll find out. Like, everyone's sort of blasé because they're, so normal. When she gets in the car and starts going through the radio to find the song that Dave or Jeff was just talking about, you hear a snippet. Like, they're saying it's not an isolated incident. And that's another thing. The intro is so good at showing how easy it is to miss vital information.
Right.
It's like, this could really happen. Like, this lady just came home. She heard news on the radio, didn't even bother to listen, just was like, I need to find a good song to unwind. I don't need to hear the news. I need to unwind.
Bitch ain't
Gets
plugged in.
home.
She missed the news all the time. They were fucking in the shower and missed the news.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You take
So
the
then
carnal
they
knowledge
watch
of the fucking
that's
Satan,
newsworthiness
and then guess what?
that's
You fucked the whole
newsworthiness
world
right
up.
there.
Now you gotta go live in the mall, lady. Now you're homeless.
So they go, they do that, and then they watch a literally reality TV, which is, that's fine. Watch reality TV, it's great. and then they go take a shower and they have sex in the shower or whatever.
Overrated, by the way.
But sex in the shower only happens in the movies because it's terrible. Okay,
it's extremely overrated.
It's not good. So one of you's always cold, one of you's always
I'm drowning. Let me up.
Yeah. That's and then the newscast pops up, right? It's like breaking news, blah blah. It just shows how like easy it is if you're not. I don't want to say they weren't self-absorbed people, right? But they were just living normal lives and also, being completely unaware.
It was 20 years ago, and the news just wasn't as every fucking where as quiet it is right now.
Yeah, so, no, like if there we would have got like a presidential update on our Black Mirrors, right? Like there'd have been like fucking mass texts sent out and shit like that. So definitely a victim of their times as well.
But it made sense. It really did make
stories
sense.
on their phone, and then 12 people saying it's all fucking fake.
Right. And luckily, Meta is now taking a hard stance against independent fact checkers. So that's always good.
Side note, did you hear that Mark Zuckerberg was a fucking pedophile?
I did not hear that.
I've read a lot about a rat penis.
That his rat penis transplant went really well, though. So
I heard they transplanted it into the back of his throat.
That's weird that they would get rid of his rat vagina like that. I don't know. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Maybe he's got both.
He's an alien. He may have been born with a vagina in the back of his throat. I don't.
But I think the intro is really. It sets the tone for the entire movie because, 5 minutes in, action, and it is brutal. Like they don't they've pulled no punches. They're already showing their kill kids. Already shown that kids will die in this movie. They're showing that they have no problem with blood. There's no problem with blood. No problem with typically in horror movies, like when there's older horror movies, when there's female violence, there's a scream and then you don't really ever see the violence, right? They have no problem showing female violence. It's
the chick in the back of was it an ambulance or a bus who is she getting eaten? Is she getting sexually assaulted? Is it a little bit of both?
Yeah.
Make it this
they show that
hard to,
all.
Yeah. So
that's why, and then they show she had every reason to know what was going on already, and just missed it all. It's a master class in storytelling. The intro, in and of itself, is a master class in storytelling.
It builds is the best part. Like what Mac is saying. So you get that intro, and there's a little bit of if you know about zombie movies going to this, you're gonna get the little hints, even if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get the build of everything happening to Anna, and then you get the what do you call that? The hot compilation video of hot zombie on zombie action,
right?
With the Johnny Cash song, which is about the best song I've ever heard in a zombie movie.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know.
Besides,
Dave would say that. I would say mine is the Return of the Living Dead. When he's going to incinerate himself. That's the. I don't know. I don't know if I'd pick Johnny Cash or that one. Those are both my.
That's more poignant. More poignant.
But down, this has got some good music in its corner.
The intro is absolutely fucking phenomenal.
And we also get the cameo of Zack Snyder during this kind of musical chaos towards the end when the copter's taking off from the White House. He's one of the dudes with the guns, trying to fend off the horde.
Nice. There's lots of cameos in this movie, by the way.
Rosie O'Donnell. Well, no, Jay Leno.
Burt Reynolds. Yeah.
The guy from
Ken
Modern
Foree.
Family.
My friend, Indiana's own Ken Foree.
Tom Savini.
Tom Savini.
It's not Savini, it's Savini?
It is Savini.
Okay. Tom Savini. And then there was the I forget his name now, but the guy that was the original hero of the original Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of the intro, the scene, kind of overhead as she's running away from the chaos of her home. You see the car skirt over and blow up the gas station. There's a helicopter
Yeah.
that flies across there. That is, I mean, it's not the helicopter, but it is a model of the 78 original helicopter that they stole at the beginning of the movie that they had flying across. And I guess in that way you could kind of tie it to that. Like maybe the Pennsylvania zombies are just a little bit slower than wherever this actually took place.
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. It means the good
Milwaukee.
land.
The good land.
Wayne's World, folks. Nobody? That's just me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you, Alice Cooper, for that knowledge.
The as she passes the gas station too, the van that comes across and slams into the gas station, the big fireball, direct reference to the original Night of the Living Dead, when he's telling the story of,
Tommy.
I was parked at the gas station, this car came in and
Oh.
he didn't even hit the brakes.
Yeah.
He didn't even hit the brakes, and he slammed right into the gas station, and that's
And
when,
what's funny is the
originally-
car that hits the tanker truck, not the tanker truck, but like the larger box truck that like then slides into the gas station, was actually O.J. Simpson's white Ford Bronco. It
Rest in-
wasn't. I'm just making that up.
Rest
So
in
yeah,
peace, OJ.
yeah. I just thought there should be a lot of fucking Easter eggs in just that one fucking shot. That one very Snyder-esque shot of the car.
Well, one of those houses that you see from the helicopter also had a yard sign that's a direct reference. Okay, I'll stop.
I was on board, dude. How you gonna drop me like that? You gonna drop me like that, Dave? Damn. I've drank so much whiskey tonight. This is offensively bad for
the other thing. So are we done with the intro? 'Cause
yeah, we've
I'm
stuck
sure.
on
I'm
it for
ready
a
to
hot
move on.
minute. Let's
We
go.
burned,
Yeah.
we burned it to the ground. So the other thing that's really interesting to me, so we get through the intro, right? Anna, she almost gets mobbed by the bus driver. She wrecks the car. She gets out of the car.
The guy that was
Ding
trying to pull her
rings.
out was the bus driver?
Yes, he was definitely the bus
Oh,
driver.
I never
before.
realized that that's what he was. I also
Yeah.
didn't realize if he was trying to help her or trying to.
I think he was carjacking her.
He was
trying-
definitely carjacking her.
Yep.
Like that was body language means everything in that scene, and
I didn't know if he was
aggressive as
assaulting
shit.
her or if it was just. I don't know. I'm jumping on your shit right now, but like she hits the thing. Is that when the music? Is that when the music intro starts?
Yes, it cuts.
So
yeah.
we come back now after a couple minutes of that.
Mhm.
We don't know how long she's been out. Listen, if I was the assaulter in this situation, don't ban me, Twitch. Listen. It's not that far. It's not that far, but the car's crashed, so I guess I understand why he didn't go after her. So it's for the car, I guess, clearly, not for her.
It's utility. It wasn't anything.
Okay, he was just so
personal or sexual
grabby.
or anything
It
otherwise.
just felt. I don't know. That's always been a thing in my
the other
brain.
thing
Why
about
didn't he
that
go
though
after her?
is she kicks him to the ground and she takes off. She wrecks the car. You don't know what happened to him. There were zombies right there. I got myself. I'll call
But
myself.
I get
There
you.
were
Yeah,
guns right there. He may have been eaten, and
Yeah.
well deservedly so.
Good,
yeah, he definitely should have been eaten. Well, we do. Okay, so I want to rewind a little bit before we go past the intro here. So when she's pulling out of, my wife's laughing at me because I'm like, "Can we get past the intro?" And I'm like, "Oh, let's go back." So when she's leaving her neighborhood, there's a lot of weird shit. I actually slowed it down because I was like, I wanted to be clear what I was watching. So she's like pulling out. Somebody like goes up to the car and is like, help me, and she just like keeps driving because she's obviously confused and in pretty much a state of shell shock, I would assume, because her husband or fiance or whatever that dude was got killed and then brought back to life. But as they're driving, she passes a cul-de-sac. And there's a bunch of people standing in the cul-de-sac, and what I assume is a cop standing at the front of the cul-de-sac, and they're just fucking standing there.
That's
Well,
about
there's
right.
also one where there's like, I think it's when the woman asks her for help. There's somebody on their hands and knees next to the car.
Like it is.
That was
It is-
very weird.
I mean, I understand that everyone's in a sense of shock and everything, and that's actually what I wanted to get into next after the intro. But like everyone, in my opinion, was doing very unnatural behavior. it felt fucking weird. But then when you meet so you meet Ving Rhames, who is just did you guys know he's only 6 feet tall?
Bullshit. You mean he's not
He's
12
only
feet
6
tall?
foot.
I'll
He's
buy
only
it.
6 foot.
I'll buy it.
Like, he looks so much bigger,
I'll buy
but
it.
he is 6 foot tall. 6 foot even. That
Even
dude
for
is
what?
2 inches
Even
taller
for
than
12
me,
feet?
and I'm not a big man.
What is the conversion rates for America for that 6 feet you're talking about?
He's got a,
Maybe in 6 feet.
yeah,
He gets on the
But he-
screen, and I'm like, there's who's going to save us.
he's the biggest man
I don't
in
know
history.
what's happened to him since this movie. Unfortunately, listen, I don't know. I don't know if he's alive or dead. I don't know what else he's been in, honestly.
He does a lot of Mission Impossible movies,
Mission
and he's
Impossible
really good
movies.
in them.
I know he was
He
in
did
A
the
Day of the
Day
Dead.
of the Dead remake. The Day of the Dead remake.
I ain't fucking with that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't fuck
He
with
plays
that
the
shit.
brother of this Ving Rhames, the twin brother of this Ving Rhames. Swear.
No, I don't want
Bet.
that. I don't want that. I don't want that. Get that out of here.
Okay.
Get that out
That's
of
the
here.
one where Nick Cannon grabs I can't remember what he grabs, and he's like, yeah, hit him with that spear. He's like, a black man's got a stick and he's got to be a spear, and then he throws it through that dude. And he's like, oh yeah, I got a spear.
That movie is fun. It's terrible but fun.
It is such a good bad movie.
If you guys
Yeah.
ever want to do your first Chrisless episode, I suggest go for that one.
Is that the one where they have like the autistic guy that always licks the end of his rifle before he shoots people so he can get better light on the end of the gun? Oh
What
man.
the fuck?
That
Get
is-
that. Get out of
The
here.
vegetarian. It's got Bub, but he's a vegetarian.
Shut. Yeah. No. Moving on.
Okay.
So
So
listen.
we
So
meet Ving Rhames.
so Kevin Zegers, the guy who plays Tyler. I'm jumping ahead because you guys have made me do this. For 15 years, I thought that was Zac Efron. This is a rare occurrence.
Tyler?
Yeah, the younger of
That's Terry.
Terry. Sorry, Terry.
I'm about to say there's no Tyler in this movie.
Sorry, my bad. I was thinking Tyler Perry, Terry. Here we are.
Gotcha.
I think that's probably where I was thinking. This is maybe one of the fewer male occurrences of the Katy Perry effect, which if you've been listening to the Horror House for a while, I may be a little bit autistic when it comes to brunetted women that look kind of close to similar. And I'm like, that's Katy Perry. That's Zac Efron. Yeah, I a couple years ago rewatched this and was like, wait a minute. That's not Zac Efron. I think I sat around to finish the credits and was actually reading it. And I'm like, who the fuck is this kid? Kevin? Kevin? No.
He looks like a Kevin.
I think you
looks like a
misspelled
Kevin.
Zac
He looks
Efron.
like a Kevin.
But anyways, Sarah Polley, or Poley, I don't know the correct pronunciation. In some ways, the Anna of the movie. Everybody
Yeah.
that's not keeping track. In some ways, I like her more than Galen Ross in the original. In some ways, she doesn't have the extreme transformation that Galen Ross has. Galen Ross is kind of like frozen in fear, petrified, kind of damsel in distress for a good part
Yeah.
of the original, which makes sense for the time, but also she overcomes that by the end and becomes kind of a badass in her own right, which breaks the mold and is pretty cool. So she don't have quite that. So real quick, who prefers who? Galen Ross, Sarah Polley?
I do like that Galen Ross has a store in the mall in this movie.
Oh, does she really?
Yeah, one of the stores is called Galen Ross.
Dave, Galen, Sarah.
I think I gotta go Sarah because she's more
This ain't
even. I
Sarah.
feel like it's more realistic.
This ain't Sarah.
Also, Sarah is super useful through the entire movie.
Tim Spick and Sarah. Jeff, are we gonna tie him, or are you gonna give the clear win to Sarah?
They're into Sarah.
She's useful for the entire fucking movie. Like she is never dead weight, which we will get into how much I
Wow, she
fucking
went
hate
to-
Nicole.
She went to
She's
college.
the worst actor and the worst character in the movie.
In my notes, Tim, the worst. It ain't CJ.
No, in my notes,
It ain't
Nicole
CJ.
is the worst actor and worst character. In my notes.
I didn't go into that part, but character speaking, it's not CJ. By a long shot, it's not CJ. It
Not
ain't
CJ.
even
It's not
Steve,
No.
who I always remember being way more of an asshole than I do now. I don't think he's that much of an asshole until the he didn't watch the door part.
Yeah, he didn't watch the door.
I mean, he's a little bit of a dick, but he's a dick I could have lived with, honestly. In that situation, he's not that bad. But the worst, goddamn Nicole. I'm sorry your dad died, but we gotta work on shit here.
I have notes on her dad, by the way. So,
Jeff does
we'll get
too.
into that.
Jeff, let's
Jeff has notes. Jeff has notes.
get us in here, Jeff.
Matt Frewer, man.
Well,
Max Headroom, yeah.
yeah, he's good. I did want to
The
say,
Stand?
like, the
Rat Man.
the reason I think the protagonists, by the way, are the protagonists is because when they all meet up, right? Like Ving Rhames meets up with Andre and Luda and Michael. They all have a firm grasp that this is super dangerous and everyone's fucked. Like there's no like, oh, we don't know what's going on. This has been going on for less than 3 hours at this point, right?
Yeah.
They've not made it through a full fucking day of this. And these people are like, nope, the road's thick with those motherfuckers.
You don't want to go that way.
Yeah.
Sir, you don't want to go
Yeah.
that way. That's one of my
Weird-
favorite
yeah.
lines in the movie.
Yeah.
Is when he said that.
It is
It's like, you don't talk
a
that shit to Ving
masterclass.
Rhames. Nobody double talks Ving Rhames, so you know shit's serious when you double talk Ving Rhames.
right. I have a notes on Michael and how he talks to each other character because he talks to every character differently. But they I think the reason the protagonists in the story of the protagonists is because they are the quickest to adapt to the situation. They see the rules, they understand the rules, and they adapt to the rules instantly, and that's it. They don't. There's nothing else. They know they're in Jumanji, and they play by the rules, and that's what they do.
Yep, except for Nicole.
Fuck Nicole.
Who's playing Candyland backwards, drunk, stupid bitch. Anyways, I have a dog. Where's my dog? I've known him for 3 days.
Emotionally, she is 10 years old.
Yeah. Actually, I looked this up. They were in the mall for 31 days.
Oh my god, Nicole was there for a day and a half. Oh my god, stupid bitch. I feel fine saying that. I won't call a woman a bitch. They don't deserve that. Nicole, you're a fucking dumb bitch. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Do better. You are fucking better than that. When Steve, you beat out Steve for the worst character.
The other note I have for
Dumb
day
bitch.
one
Terry's a pedo.
is
Hashtag Terry's a pedo.
Terry is.
Terry?
I don't think Terry's a pedo, but he's weird. I broke down crowbar ? Let me explain.
Okay.
Nope. I'm ahead of you because I wondered if you were going to mention this. I was going to bring it up. Go ahead.
Efficiency
Michael
violence
is
time.
trying to give up his fucking crowbar every fucking second of the first time they make it in the mall. They try to open that door. They make it to the Metropolis store. He looks down at his crowbar and is like, no, I'm not going to break the glass with that. Picks up a toilet and breaks the glass with that. And then hands the toilet to Anna, or the crowbar to Anna. They go through that whole section. They're sweeping the mall. He thinks he knows there's a zombie in there, or an undead in there. I've been drinking now.
It's harder. It's harder than it seems.
It is. He thinks there's an undead in there, and he looks at the crowbar again, and is like, "No, I'll get a croquet mallet, which is meant to hit 1 pound balls." Like,
maybe he's Nicole's real
what are
dad.
you fucking doing?
That bothers me so much. One, you mentioned the glass. That crowbar would easily bust that, even if it's fortified glass. The crowbar has the sharp end, so when you swing something like that, you're concentrating a lot of force into that very little sliver.
Yes.
Jack Gunn What the fuck is his name?
That's comedy.
James Gunn.
James Gunn.
The comedy
mind.
aside,
Terry-
the
Terry
fact
Never mind.
the
I
fact
don't know
that he
what the fuck
looks
I'm saying.
in both scenes, he looks at the crowbar, looks at his obstacle, and puts the crowbar down.
He's like,
Both fucking scenes.
solid steel or this croquet mallet that's basically made out of toothpicks? Let's do that.
Yeah.
I think balsa wood will serve me well in this fucking instance. Like, what are you doing?
The
I
heated
think-
debates of Zack Snyder and James Gunn was
We
like,
should-
listen,
we
why is
should
he putting this
remake this.
crowbar down, Zack? And he's like, listen, I've got this thing about croquet mallets. To break him in half.
We see
Listen,
a shot for shot remake where he chooses between the crowbar and a pool noodle.
So I think that potentially, so when they do the initial intro of Michael, Andre, and Luda, he says like back when there was 8 of us, and there is like torment in this dude's eyes. I think maybe he had to kill his daughter with that crowbar. I think she got turned and he had maybe kill one of his kids with that crowbar.
You know how to harsh my buzz, man.
I know it's fucking brutal. I haven't watched this movie in probably 5 or 6 years. I am a father now of a 3-year-old. And that scene where he says that I know the job I was best at, and it was like being a dad, and like he chokes up a little bit. Dude, I was sitting there just like I had to pause the movie. I was like, holy shit, that is so deep.
Tim
That
watches
is
insurance
so fucking deep.
commercials and can't handle them. But the problem is with that is he says it was this is the best job I was best at. I don't see any kids around, brother. What you was
That's
best
why-
at that?
that's
You was
and
best.
that's
You
why
was
I go-
best at carrying around a
he's
crowbar,
best-
not taking
yeah.
care of kids. Where they at?
The zombies
Just-
came, and he said, "Fuck
F
them
minus.
kids." Not the
F
zombies
minus
again.
Steven Weber.
And that's another reason that I think that he knows his child is definitively past. I don't like to say a child is the D word, because I think that a character like that wouldn't be stuck in a mall hanging out with these people. Like if I didn't know, if like we were in a zombie apocalypse and I knew where my son was but didn't know if he was alive or not, that's my only mission. That's where I'm going. That's where
Right.
I'll be. So I think that he definitively knows. And
You
I
don't want to
think
go to
that
the
crowbar
mall
might have
with
been
the 3 of us? What?
Yeah, no, you you guys
What?
are grown men. Fend for
You leave us-
yourself.
Hold on. Not even if we gave you a crowbar?
Hopefully,
What?
Orion is not left with your mom because Stella has already said, "Apocalypse comes, undead apocalypse." She's shooting everybody.
She's going the mist
She's killing
before the
everybody.
mist comes in.
Mom said that?
Oh yeah, she don't want to live in an apocalypse situation. She's killing everybody.
So okay, I was talking to Chris and Jen about this. I was like, guys, this might seem crazy. I kind of want to I was like, there's this gun store online that sells like a pistol and a rifle as a package deal. I was like, I think I want to buy like 3 of these so I have like loadouts for everyone if the zombie apocalypse happens. And Jen and Chris are both like, no, if the zombie apocalypse happens, I'm just gonna end it. I'm like,
It don't have
no,
to be the
we have
zombie.
to survive.
It don't have to be the zombie apocalypse. I'm saying like any kind of apocalypse. Like I'm not as extreme as
I'm not fucking dying.
Okay.
As she
well, never
is.
mind. Jen has rehashed. She's not fucking dying, is what she said.
I just don't
So
want to try that.
Jen will be the last one standing.
We
Yeah.
discussed it at dinner last night, and I said no, I want to stick around, and I was the minority at the table. And my mom asked me, "Why would you want to stick around if that happens?" I said, "To rebuild society in my image."
So
Well done,
mine's
Noel.
not that egocentric.
Jeff,
I
where do
just
you
want to
stand on
rebuild
this?
society.
Are you out soon, or are you trying to ride the wave?
Oh, riding the wave, definitely.
Oh yeah. Plus, there's just something badass about like, I have a zombie. I don't want to get into this. I have like so many fucking
You have a
survival
zombie?
manuals. I know I don't have a zombie. I do have like a
Get out of here, you stupid zombie! I never loved you.
Do you want
I
a
have
zombie?
a get to Jen and my son I have a get to them pack. Like it's a pack that's loaded up with like 72 hours worth of supplies. Like I can get to them and camp out with them and we will be okay. It sits in that closet right there. If shit goes down, I can grab that backpack, get to them, and we could survive in the woods for 3 days.
I've got a sign that says no zombies allowed.
Oh, well then you're solid. Like I should get one. They're like $10,000 though. And in this economy.
But it's written in zombie language, so.
Yeah, exactly. And that costs $20,000. But sorry, I got off my notes here. Yeah, the crowbar. I think he probably had to take out one of his children because they got turned, which I am okay with.
I'm okay with zombie children as well.
Because it's not your child anymore, in my opinion. So I'm okay with that. I don't know that I could do it, but I'm okay
Who
with
do you
it.
pay child support to in such a circumstance? God?
God.
You just throw it on the ground, you're
or
like,
the
get it,
devil.
God.
Odin.
Yeah.
Throw it in the
Somebody.
sky, throw it on the ground.
Yeah.
Tim.
It's still going to get taken out of your check. So it is what it is.
Tim,
Well, the
are you
IRS
willing to
has-
come on the show if we ever do Stephen King's The Mist?
Yeah, I'll do the Mist.
Have you seen
Go
it?
ahead, Jeff. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yes, I have seen the Mist.
Oh, it's the IRS has a thing that they still have a way of getting you to do taxes during a nuclear holocaust. So I mean, I'm sure there's something with a zombie apocalypse as well, or undead apocalypse.
Listen, I'll do them every year. Bombs drop. Listen,
I'll file my 2026 taxes, okay?
I'll maybe do them for the first year, but I ain't doing them for 2 years in a row.
After Greenland nukes us, I'll do my 2026 taxes. So the other thing I said I have in my notes for day one is CJ copes very poorly in the first day.
Or was CJ right all along?
Well, here's my issue with CJ. In the first
CJ,
day,
Bart, and Turry had the best setup anybody could have, and they
Right.
didn't enforce it strong enough. They should have killed all of them as soon as they came in.
I
All they had to do
disagree.
was all they had to do was prop the elevator door open so it didn't go down to pick them up.
Bada
Well,
bing,
there's
bada
also
boom.
that.
They could have shut that elevator down.
And if they need
Bob
ammunition,
Tosin was down there.
Yeah, let him go.
let him die.
She's,
I feel like they already
He-
knew
he-
he was dead.
that's fair.
You get a zip line from your place to Andy's. Why they didn't do that in the end, anyways? Like, why didn't you zip line? I don't know how zip lines work.
That's-
You could have movie magicked it.
That's my whole thing. That dude owned a gun store. You know he had some fucking 70-pound compound bows. Definitely could have shot at least a fishing line with 20-pound strength over to that fucking roof.
And he
You
weighed
know,
at least
problem.
half
Sure.
that.
He could have cast a line that far put a bunch of sinkers on the end of a fishing line, cast it across the block.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
they didn't need to put him in that situation.
we're getting ahead of ourselves in the movie here.
Some good, if you're into DVD, Blu-ray collecting. I don't know if it's on the. Is there a 4K of this? I'm not sure. But on because the 4Ks tend to, if they don't have the previous versions with them, drop special features, which is so fucking stupid. Because that's why people was buying this shit. But now it's a matter of collecting the media physically. Maybe more so than the special features than it was back in the day. But there was cool Andy in the gun store, like selfie footage that he recorded himself.
Yeah.
That was like
It was
supplemental.
like
to
found
this.
footage.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah.
Which was not the best actor. Like from far away, it worked, but like the close-up stuff, not great. But it worked in the respect of that idea and that like found footage kind of thing, which was cool.
That they actually did that as like not necessarily webisodes, but like that was like one of the first like you could go online and get that stuff to like after the movie came out and shit. So that was really cool because they brought the internet into it, which wasn't huge. I mean, it was huge in 2004, but not as obviously as prevalent as now.
Yeah.
But like that was like some of the first web media I remember watching was Andy's Days.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
This and Land of the Dead were big online at the time movies for me.
Yeah.
I was big on the message boards, you know, being like runners versus walkers, and being real hot into that, being like, wow, you don't know what you're fucking talking about. You don't know what you're fucking talking about. I'm gonna stab your mom. I'll stab yours before you can find mine. Welcome 2004. That everything was legal.
So CJ, the way CJ coped, he took control of the situation. He did so in a very authoritarian manner. Very like Stanford experiment. Fucking, we're the jailers, you're the jailees.
Right.
Like, you know, that's how it's gonna be. So and he's sitting there watching TV, right? And he's watching the sheriff, played by Tom Savini. And he's watching it and he's like enthralled by it. And then like the dude says like, yeah, shoot him in the head, blah, blah. And they're like, you know, she's a twitcher and see right there. And he like looks over for his dudes. His dudes aren't there. And so he looks over to the other people that just came in for affirmations to himself. Like, see there, it's a very like, if we're to like compare it to our current world, like a very like, I'm an Andrew Tate fan sort of mentality, right? Like, there's this strong man that's on TV that's telling me how to do shit. See, that's how you do it. Like, aren't I right? Aren't I right? Like, it's that very like, you could tell that he was a damaged man, right? He was a damaged man that like he had to project masculinity, even if he wasn't necessarily feeling masculinity in the time.
He didn't understand his own in a way, and
yeah,
the projection.
And that's the thing, like,
but
you don't. Hey, men of the world, you don't have to be masculine all the time. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay.
Just be human.
All right,
that's good enough.
Yeah, you can be vulnerable.
But CJ, I texted this to Tim earlier. I was like, CJ, I can't remember exactly what I said. Yeah.
Because I texted Chris, I was like, holy fuck, there is way more character development in Dawn of the Dead than I thought there was.
Yeah.
But there's a fuck ton.
With a couple characters.
And CJ is the most,
he has a
from
whole
left to right.
Yeah.
He does a huge redemption arc, which is awesome.
And it's not that he was even that bad. He was a little bit of an asshole, sure. But, I mean, he was protecting his shit.
He wasn't no fucking Nicole.
He wasn't no fucking Nicole. Fuck you, bitch.
Fucking damn it, Nicole. So I put
sorry,
that. And
I'm sorry, other Nicoles. Other Nicoles, you're fine. Jeff, how do you feel about Nicoles in general?
Nicoles in general?
No, Jeff. I'm getting Jeff in here.
What?
Fuck Nicole. You're right.
Yep. You heard it here. Jeff said fuck Nicole. I put, and then my other note here is like, Michael adapts to the people around him. So like the way that he talks to Anna is very like matter-of-factly. The way he talks to Ving Rhames is very, like, he's very submissive to Ving Rhames, because I feel like he knows that he... Do what's that?
Who could not be submissive to Ving Rhames?
No shit.
He's like, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. Like,
he's
yeah,
very...
you are. What did you think was going to happen, Ving Rhames? You think I was going to stop you?
He's super... what's the word I'm looking for?
He plays himself down and plants the ideas. He lets CJ.
He collaborates.
Yeah.
He's very collaborative.
He gets himself down lower.
Yeah.
Than CJ.
Exactly.
That's on his level.
Hey, I'm sure you already thought about boarding this place up. And the next thing you know, CJ's like, "Hey, Terry, go board this place up."
He's playing him though, right? With Ving Rhames, he doesn't bow to Ving Rhames, but he knows that Ving Rhames isn't going to be swayed by anything that he says. Can
you believe dudes masturbate their own penises, CJ?
Right. But with CJ, he realized that like CJ looks at it like as an authoritarian thing, right? So he's like, you bow to me, you expect me. And so like Michael adapts to whoever he's talking to at all times, which is his superpower in the movie.
Yeah.
He is able to relate
and then
communicate with everyone.
reads in a magazine these things that he learns from Cosmopolitan. I don't remember which exactly magazine it was. I used to learn a bunch of guitar shit from magazines in the early 2000s.
There you go.
It's not out of the question that you learn valuable shit from magazines at that time. I don't know about magazines these days.
A lot of people don't realize Cosmopolitan had a lot of good metal guitar articles.
Yeah.
Oh, Guitar One. That's where you go, not Guitar World. I guess Cosmopolitan. Sorry.
And the last note I have for day one is no one has time to process and no one sleeps. So
Except Bart.
They do a really good job of showing Anna like finding shoes and putting them on. And I thought that was really powerful watching it again. She puts the shoes on and she gets like a moment of comfortability and instantly starts crying, right? Like she instantly feels like she can drop her guard and start sobbing. And then within that 5 seconds, dude's opening the door, being like, "What's taking so long?" Like,
Yeah.
no one has time to process what they're going through or what's happening to them right now.
Cops have a lot of that. Cops have a lot of that footage of like if you fall asleep, you're guilty. So that really means that Anna's guilty of the zombie apocalypse because she was looking more for her shoes than she was.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry,
Right.
I got to pee real bad. I'll be back.
I do too. I'll do the same. But I do want to say like that I thought that it was interesting that like she gets a moment of comfortability. She gets shoes, right? She's been barefoot this whole time. She gets that moment and then instantly starts crying and then instantly has to be brought out of it and like back to work. And I thought that was really powerful. But
yeah. So tip, if you ever find yourself in the apocalypse,
Shoes.
surviving is important. Me time is important too. So be like, I don't have time to fight the undead. I'm going to take a moment for myself.
Me and Tim are going to take first pee break. Dave, you and Jeff get it going, and then we'll cover for you when we come back.
Sounds good.
Jeff,
What?
where are you at with this authoritarianism of CJ?
I mean, I think the first time I'd watched it, I felt like, yeah, he was like a big problem. But after watching it the other day, I was like, oh yeah, he's just like you said, he's just kind of an asshole, you know. And
I think it's very realistic, though.
Yeah, he's trying to keep things together the way he thinks he knows how.
I think early on, he still thinks tomorrow the government's going to come in. This is going to be gone. This is going to be fine. We're going to go back to business as usual. And so does the one deputy that's talking about fucking the fat girl. He's like, yeah, I was going to nail that ass. He's like, she's dead, dude. She's dead. Your mom's dead. Your dad's dead. Your brother's dead. Everybody you know is dead. He's like, yeah, that sucks too. But I was going to get some pussy. That sucks.
Yeah.
And I think there's a real that is real world reaction. A lot of people are going to have that reaction. Tim talked about your nurse, your cop, your gangster.
Yeah.
Are three people who live life on their day-to-day life. They deal with trauma and fast decision making and adapting to what's going on at the time, and so they adapted well to the situation.
Right.
CJ I think represents more what a lot of people are going to do in an apocalypse situation is
bunker down
and think that tomorrow all this is going to go away. The government's going to come in. Like I think he thought a day, 2 days, and everything's going to go back to normal. So that's why he's worried. Don't steal a TV. Bitch, nobody even gives a fuck about a TV at this point.
They're holding on to their preconceptions of the American way. The CJ is definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But did you guys mention the helicopter?
Not yet. When they go outside, when they're out,
that's also day one. Yeah, that's another huge
military
point for. Yeah, the military helicopter.
Which
yeah,
I'm not. Listen, the only thing I want to say about that is I'm not unsure that that's the same one that Zack Snyder at the beginning was defending. They look very similar, which is maybe a budget thing, but still interesting.
But they see the helicopter go by. It doesn't and Michael's like, he's already in the mindset, right? Which it's another point for day one is like, and you find out this later in the movie that Michael, like, he sold TVs at Best Buy, right? Like, this is definitely like a human being that Michael specifically, like, he came into his own in the apocalypse, which is always a cool story in these apocalyptic stories, is like somebody coming into their own and, like, you know, really finding their niche.
As somebody that wants to live through an apocalypse.
Yeah.
I don't think
everyone here. Chris, I'll make you live. So you're gonna be Orion's caretaker while Jen and I are slaying all the zombies. I said the Z word again. But the coming to their own, but the day one thing, the helicopter, Michael's in the mindset, everyone else is kind of like being hopeful, but he's being a realist. And again, he's addressing the group. And I think this again is a masterclass in Michael as a character, is that he's always saying relevant information. Like, he's kind of the Rock, and they play it really hard in the first 2 days of the film, right? Michael is the Rock, like, he is the one that keeps them all together. But really all he's doing is communicating, and he's communicating on everyone's level. Like, he's not being authoritarian, he's communicating with them. And I thought that was, again, another masterclass in just the film in general, is that you have this character that he's the de facto leader. Everyone accepts it. They even mention it, that he's the leader.
But he sells TVs at Best Buy.
He sells TVs at Best Buy, and
right.
He's not even... What were you saying, Jeff? Sorry.
Oh, it's just I know. I always kept feeling he was about to lie. He's like lying to them, but like it never came out saying, "Oh, he's someone else. He's not who he says he is." But he's like talks the guy down. You know, right. He does all this stuff. It's like, what is his background? Like,
right.
Why is he selling TVs at Best Buy?
Right. And I like to think that really is his story. Because I think it's just, this was a guy that was like, he was always communicating to people on their terms, and so they saw that as a sign of weakness, when really it's a sign of strength. That is you know, management material. That is how people should communicate to people, is on their level.
That's who
talking to them
fucking
as
corporate
people.
Best Buy is looking for, Michael.
You're moving
that's
up. Exactly right.
You're right here.
Exactly.
You're moving up.
So if you were hiring a salesman, if you're hiring a good salesman, that's somebody who's going to communicate to each individual on their level. He's going to meet the customer at their place.
We've got all these Mass Effect Andromeda 360 copies we got to get rid of, Michael. What do you intend on doing about that?
Start kind of bundling the Time Cop into bundles of 2 issues of Time Cop.
We have a bunch of Time Cop DVDs, Michael, to go. Maybe.
He sold TVs, not movies.
So while you guys were out in your bathroom break, while you guys were pooping on the job, I did make the observation. So our survivors, Michael's salesman communicating, thank you, Tim, that's from you. But the other 3 survivors, a gangster, a cop, and a nurse. 3 professions, if you call being a gangster a profession, that requires you to deal with stress, stay cool under fire, adapt to an ever-changing situation. And so, you know, these are jobs that are going to lend themselves to surviving. There's going to be a large luck factor involved, and there you have Steve. You know, Steve benefited from some luck, and I don't remember the truck driver lady. What's her name?
Norma.
Oh my God,
she was the most gangster of everybody.
Norma's amazing.
Yeah, I did love her.
No, Michael is also
fucking Steve's woman too, but you know, what's that?
She absolutely was.
Michael is also a lucky person, because Michael, with his skills alone, I don't think could have survived.
Sure.
Michael would only thrive in a group because he can control. He's the Rock. He can keep that group together.
He is the Rock.
He's the bard of the party.
He is the bard of the party. for sure. Natural 20 charismas all around. But yeah, no. He or as the kids would say these days, the Riz Master. I think is what they say now. But
or
yeah,
as I
so
like to say, Rism with the tism.
also true. But yeah, no. Each of these characters was, yeah, just their intros were all fantastic. With the exception of Terry's, I still don't understand how the fuck Terry.
Zac Efron can fuck off.
Yeah, that's
Zach and his girlfriend Nicole the bitch can fuck off. They can take the dog
why they decided
too.
that Terry
I'm not
should
that hot on the
live
dog.
is
Terry and
me.
Nicole,
Yeah.
because Nicole won't go without her bitch and the dog or the dog.
The dog.
But there's some other people that I feel like could have been shrunk into some other people, and it maybe would have been better, because I mean, you got the redneck guy who's fun because of his like gun knowledge. He makes a couple jokes in that regard, but he's really useless other than that. You could combine a couple characters, make him the gay guy too, the gay like priesty Christian-y kind of guy.
Glenn,
like, I mean,
Glenn, the organ player.
Yeah, you could put those together and it works. Norma, I don't.
It's just a job. Playing organ for the church. He don't believe in it. It's just a job.
Yeah.
It's a job.
He's like, I found out I was gay when the neighbor fucking told me I was gay. I think that's how it
So
works.
you also watched the unrated version, because that wasn't in the fucking theater version.
That's the fan version I was making.
My neighbor Jeffrey Epstein.
Fucking put Norma and the blonde girl together that Steve was fucking, because who cares? Who cares? Just put them together, because they could both be bad bitches. You telling me one couldn't be more of a bad bitch than the other? It doesn't matter. You've got a character.
You need those extra characters just to fodder.
Yeah, I mean, she still was fodder. Either way, she was still fodder. But
yeah, they were fodder. That's the thing. They have to have character death to have a compelling story. And if you merge characters together, you can have less character death.
Okay, then they still had the same amount of character depth. Norma didn't have no character depth.
Death, not depth. DEATH.
Oh, you just mean that they had to exist to get the numbers up.
Right, to get the deaths.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I was like, they didn't have depth.
What's funny about Monica, the blonde.
Oh, I didn't even know her name. There we go. I'm on the level now.
When I watched it twice today. So when they're coming in, so day 2 starts, right? They're doing their whole thing. The truck comes in, which funny fucking thing about the truck that I'll get to later with Nicole.
Who doesn't know a truck opens from the fucking back? A fucking box truck? Andre and Michael are fucking stupid. So, they run out there and like, how can we help? Bang, 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 bang. Yes. And Norma's like, you stupid fucking slow wit fucking country bump fuck ass bitches. Get back inside. It opens from the rear. It opens from the back. And they're like, bang, 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 bang.
So
can we at least agree that one-armed Bruce Lee was badass?
No, he was booking it, dude.
Yes.
That dude was hauling ass.
He's one of the few
That was
things...
also a great zombie reveal, because again, the Z word. He's walking and then turns and is missing the arm with its bloody stump, and you're like, oh shit, that is an undead.
Zombie movies really love to take care of the handy missable.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Do you get it?
I did, because he's missing a handy.
There is
my chair broke.
Special effect note here. So most of the guys playing undead, most of the people playing undead, they had the squibs in the back of their head, and they had remotes in their own hand, which was fairly, that's not very common. Usually you have somebody off screen who's controlling, but they felt like that the actors could better time the movement of the shots with the squib that way, and it comes off very good. It was what pulled off very well here,
and that scene especially. But I do like they set up the stress of that scene really, really well. So like Michael and Andre are at the door, right? Michael's like, we're going out there. We're going to do this. Andre's like, fuck you. I'm not going out there. Michael's like, okay, here we go. Like, doesn't even register what Andre said. Right?
Andre, you
And
didn't
again,
know you was my bitch.
Well,
we go.
I think, again, he's communicating. Andre's saying no, even though he knows Andre's
With
a
his
good person.
eyes.
And Andre is going to
Or
go
with
with
his
him,
mouth.
whether he says no or yes.
He's saying yes.
So he goes to open the door.
Because
Andre's
of the
like,
implications.
Andre's like, you
He's
dumb.
got to say yes because of the implications.
The implications. He's like, fuck. And I got your Always Sunny reference there. So he goes to open the door, and Andre's like, you dumb fuck, and like releases the deadbolt. And it's like, okay, now we can go, because Andre understands that Michael's going. Michael understands that if Michael goes, Andre's going.
Yep.
They understand each other, and they don't know each other well. Andre shits on him like the scene prior to this. Is like, you're always saying shit. Who the fuck are you? And he's like, I sell TVs at Best Buy. So, but they have this mutual understanding of one another that, hey, we're OGs together. We're gonna fight together. Again, why are they backing up the truck? Clearly, us as viewers understand that there's somebody in the back of the fucking truck. Otherwise, wouldn't have done that. But they're in a high stress, high octane situation. They're not thinking straight. So they open the door, they look up, and the viewer is then vindicated by like, we're fine. There's people in the back of the truck. And we're like, the viewers are all like, oh, we knew that.
I've seen a truck in real life movie.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that's another masterclass in filmmaking, because the viewer is participating now, right? The viewer is like, these dudes are fucking idiots. What are they doing? And they don't let them die to this stupid moment, right? They just like let the viewer be vindicated.
They should have.
In their beliefs.
One of them should have got it for that. I feel like they really should.
I don't think so.
They really
I think that was
Andre should have
purely
been.
for viewer participation.
They should have got
And
rid of one of them for that. Like, it didn't. Let's split Andre in half and put another person in there with him. Let's get rid of one for that, because that's stupid. That is very.
I like
stupid.
Andre's arc. I think.
You telling me Michael don't know which way the end of a truck opens?
I'm sure he does, but again, high stress.
He sells TVs. He don't unload the truck. That's for the low paid guy.
He'll have to unload a truck before he's selling a TV. Anywhere.
He's a bullshitter, man. He came in
He ain't bull. I almost shaved my beard in the form of a CJ earlier today. I really thought about it.
Dude.
And then being like, but I got too much going on here to sell it. And I've been like, oh man, y'all, I survived. I fucking so much survived, and then they fucking followed the other people. And I got the hairline almost to go with the CJ. I thought I was that close. I was like,
you should definitely do it.
I'll be right back.
You look you look badass with the CJ goatee.
I would look bad. Tim said I'd look badass.
I said badass. Yeah.
Yeah. I may be right back in a second.
So yeah, that whole scene I thought was a master class in showing the stretch of the situation and how it affects human cognitive response, but also a master class in getting the
attention
viewers the attention of the viewers, to get the viewers to participate, right? Because we had a lull. They made it to the mall. There's like all this character talk. There's no action, blah blah, and then all of a sudden there's a fuck ton of action, and the viewers involved. So again, I thought it was a masterclass in filmmaking. I really tried to break this film down analytically, and I apologize that I talk so fucking much. You guys are not here to see me. You're here to see them. I just have a lot of thoughts on this movie.
Well, it's a great one.
Every week.
We usually wait for the meow, but we didn't this time. Usually we wait.
So day 2, after they unload the truck,
we've got 31 days, folks. Buckle in. Didn't you say there's 31 days?
There's the first 30 minutes of the movie is 2 days, and then there's the rest of the days.
Didn't you say 31 days?
31 days, yep. If you go by Andy's, actually, you mentioned this earlier, Andy's webisode things. If you go by Andy's webisodes from when he locked down, which would have been the same day that the survivors locked down,
When COVID started.
to his last day,
When
it's
COVID
31 days.
Right.
And they escaped them all the same day that Andy died.
Yeah.
So
Because of
31
bitch ass fucking Terry and his bitch.
Well, that and their inability to deal with not having electricity. And I'll get into that because I have thoughts on this. But day 2, my first note is she looked like a man. So
Norma.
Nope. The big lady that comes in that has the bite on her arm that dies.
Yeah, the hot bitch.
And that lets them know that the bite is what turns you was actually a man.
Not the first time
Canadian,
not the first time
Canadian
in cinematic
stuntman.
history where an ugly woman was played by a man to spare a woman from kind of ridicule and maybe some kind of like humility and such things.
Right.
If you remember,
I think they should have got Kathy Bates because Kathy Bates would have sold the fuck out of that role. Kathy Bates is amazing.
I thought you was going to say
If
Kathy
you don't like
Bates
Kathy
is a man.
Bates,
I love Kathy Bates. Misery, we've not done that on this show.
Kathy Bates is phenomenal.
Love Misery. I love Misery.
But yeah, so the lady, but they figure out that
She's like, fuck.
the bites are what transmit the disease at that point. That's when they figure that out. And then I also have my next note is Frank is a mentally healthy father. So
why didn't he just kill himself and his daughter? Get it over with. Like Dave taught us.
What I thought was beautiful about the whole like them coming to kill Frank scene and then Frank explaining to them the situation. He explained it as she has lost everyone. She has lost her mother and her 2 brothers.
And her
he doesn't say,
mind.
I've lost my wife and my 2 sons. He says that she has lost her mother and her 2 brothers.
Yeah, because they mean much more to her mental health than they do to his.
Well, yes, that's exactly why.
Fuck you, Nicole. You fucking simple bitch. You're the reason we're here.
I thought that spoke to me as a father. I was like, that is a very mentally healthy father. He is 100% in every aspect looking after his child, right? Like
if I was Nicole's dad, I'd be like, do you got any poison to help, like Tylenol? You got some like whiskey to like take me out a little bit before I go? Could you
In the
ease me
original
out of this?
script, it was like when she was young.
Let's turn these stairs to escalators. How about it?
She fell out of a window on a cruise ship.
I did like that about Frank. I really, really enjoyed that.
Now hold on.
Dialogue.
The one thing when we talked about doing Dawn of the Dead 2004, Jeff's only reply was, "My favorite Matt Frewer movie." Jeff, you have to rise up now.
You have the floor.
Tell us your thoughts.
I want to hear Matt Frewer facts
on this scene at least. You're the lead now. I tell you what, I could have been doing this the whole time, but I've drank whiskey all night. It's Matt Frewer time. Let's talk about Max Headroom and his bitch ass daughter Nicole. or not.
It's just a joke because he's only in there for like a few minutes. It was like they didn't give him enough screen time, you know? Like, oh, he's there. Yeah. Oh, he got bitten. Oh, he's gonna die. Damn it.
Yeah.
I like how he's one of the best actors in the movie.
Yeah.
And his daughter is literally the worst actor in the fucking movie.
Yeah.
She lives.
I feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember watching this in the theater. Dave, I want your opinion here in a second. Remind me. So me and Tim were sitting next to each other watching this. And I just remember feeling so bad for him. Like, I've never felt so bad in a movie theater in my entire life. I'm used to Batman Forever, man. What is this? Feelings? He was my introduction to feelings in a theater. And I'm like, what do I... But Dave, you're surrounded by like your bros, your dudes. No, you're my dude, but like we weren't there for cinematic. We weren't there for different situation. Dave is there, a little more grown up, a little more like taking the balls of the Dawn of the Dead Did you feel anything during this, or were you just like, get a load of these gay wads?
I think we were at the theater because I think we were like, look at those guys. They're holding hands up there,
Wow.
crying about
Die
Max
faster.
Headroom dying in the home goods store. No, I at the time I did not. This is more poignant later. I feel like after I was a father, I agree. There is you see things a little bit different emotionally at that point. Not saying I was cold and heartless. I'm not that far on the spectrum, but
It just didn't mean as much at the time.
Move me. Nicole is so terrible. He was probably looking forward to the sweet embrace of death.
He like the scene where he's like, okay, it's time to go, honey. That was 4 hours before he died.
Yeah.
He's just like, get her the fuck away from me.
Oh, I just want to take a nap, Nicole. Let me rest before my rest, bitch.
But
he went back and tongue kissed that fat bitch's dead body.
Yeah, he's like,
More
can I
zombie
get zombie faster? Do you got more zombie you can give me?
the other cool thing about this scene, so like Ving Rhames is very much up until this point of the movie an anti-hero. He is not.
He's trying to get out of it.
Not,
he doesn't give a shit about the
he's
group.
not here for any of these fucking people. He doesn't give a fuck about them.
He's selfish, self-centered.
Yes,
But he went into
that.
that.
He's
So
not
you should,
self.
His actions do not.
he's not out for the
betray
group
them.
because he never started out that way. So it doesn't offend you that he's not, because you already knew he wasn't. It wasn't like some revelation later on.
Right.
So when he's like, I don't care what goes on here. I'm trying to get out of here. But you knew that. So it's not like you were. But then
I also like that
Andy.
he has the U.S.
Andy's like,
United States Marine Corps
Ving
tattoo on his
Rhames,
forearm.
You got such a good movie, Ving Rhames. And then he's like, oh, Andy, stop.
He has the United States Marine Corps tattoo on his forearm, so you know he's the most capable person in the group. You know that he has the most skills, with firearms and all that shit. And he is still out to save his family, which again is not an immoral reason to fucking dodge these people. It's not a bad reason, but he's a man. Like, he's a man of his word, and he's like, this is what I'm doing. I understand that you guys are in a plight. The thing that they do understand, but they don't, because they're looking out for their own self-interests. This man has his own plight. You're not his world.
Right.
Yeah.
And like,
these other people's worlds have essentially, especially Anna and Michael, have went from like their entire world to just crumble down, and like now this is their world.
Yeah.
While Ving Rhames is just like, I've got a world outside of this. This is your
he's
world
living
now.
out. Yeah, he's living outside of it. Yeah.
But he's really still not a dick. He's not willing to screw somebody over to accomplish his goals.
No.
So.
Yeah, he's a man of integrity, for sure. I think that's the best way to describe him. He's a man of integrity.
Some morals. You got some morals going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which he tells him straight up, like, the whole time, like, hey, January 6th is in 2 months, and I've got to be at the Capitol.
What's up, Shocker? Welcome. Our latest follower, Shocker 1177. Welcome on in. Welcome to the live.
So, what's up, Shocker? But they, I like. He talks to Ving Rhames. Ving Rhames decides that he's going to be the guy that stands there. He decides he's going to stand there and watch this dude die. Probably before the undead apocalypse, he was probably the only person that had watched a man die.
On
given
purpose.
that he's in the Marine Corps.
Oh,
I assume that he volunteered to do this duty.
It's Raymond, Dave.
Frank says,
well, he's a cop. He's probably shot like jaywalkers and stuff before as well.
Dave.
Yeah.
Shocker is Raymond.
Okay.
It's Raymond,
but
Dave.
he says,
I don't know.
Raymond. Raymond, I believe, came with us to watch this.
Oh, nice.
So
Dave,
There
Dave,
did
you gotta
Dave
throw Dave
cry
to the
like a
zombies,
I don't
Raymond.
have the chat. I don't have the chat because I'm not on Twitch. So
Raymond?
He's blaming it on me, Ray. Get a load of
Yeah.
this.
Did Dave cry
It's
like a
Chris's
bitch
fault.
when Frank died?
Motherfucker.
Did Dave cry
Tell
like
us.
a bitch when Frank died? That's all I want to know.
Because we
But
all did,
when-
except for Dave.
I cried
When-
tears of joy when Nicole died.
When Frank,
Oh.
she doesn't fucking die. When Frank says you want every second, and he's like fighting to stay alive, and Ving Rhames like nods. It's like Ving Rhames knew Kenneth. I'm sorry, Kenneth, the character, like knew that fucking desperation before. Like he like knew like, yep, I've seen dudes die. They want every second. I totally understand what you're saying right now, and that
He
was
said, when I
again,
had
a
my knee
super
on
powerful
George
move.
Floyd's throat. This is exactly what it felt like.
It's 2025, Dave. It's 2025.
He's
What was I saying? Okay, my note after Frank is a mentally healthy father is Andre is defensive and distances himself and isolates Luda after he hears that bites are what turns people.
Which we've talked about the OG remake. It's an OG remake, the Tom Savini remake of Night of the Living Dead. This is now 13 years after that, but me and Dave have talked about that. The big thing that Savini's talked about, because he was the director of that, was the subverting of kind of expectation. Like, you had this knowledge going in, and you have that even in the beginning parts of the movie, the intro, but still, I know that like Andre, I'm thinking is kind of like the Ken 4E kind of character in a way, because they look a little bit similar. They're not filling kind of similar roles because there's now like a wife character and like she's pregnant, but still I kind of put him in that role. Like, he's kind of a hero character. So when you get to that point where he's like kind of isolating himself and his family, his soon-to-be family, it's a little bit, taking that expectation and being like, and
Yeah.
and then when Norma shows up, and then it's like, what you say?
Speaking of
Norma's
subverting
working.
expectations, they also do that in the scene where Luda gets bit, because Luda gets bit by Bob Cozine, who's been turned,
Ben.
and Ben Cozine, who gets turned.
Wow, I gotta cut Tim off now.
Ving Rhames,
Downstairs.
Kenneth goes into, they make a big deal about showing Kenneth get cut when he gets going to the fountain.
Yeah.
Yep.
And nothing ever happens.
And then you're like, oh shit, that's gonna get all mixed in, and like he's gonna get infected too. He doesn't though. So
that's what makes Bub in Day of the Dead.
Friends and family at home, chlorinated water kills the zombie virus. We know it for a fact.
On God.
So,
on God.
Behind the scenes moment here. Here's your trivia moment again. When Anna is sewing up Kenny, he's got this prosthetic. Usually they'll use a prosthetic skin.
You were sewing up your own cousin Kenny because of a fight in the theater.
When she's sewing up the prosthetic, because it's just a prosthetic over his arm that she's sewing up for real with a real needle, though, she actually went too deep and she sewed the prosthetic to his arm. And Ving Rhames
lives with that to this day.
Is such a badass. He just took the whole thing. He's just like, fuck it, sew it up, bitch.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I thought that cup was
amazing.
I thought that cup was Coke. It's whiskey.
Go for it, Chris. Go for it.
But yeah, so speaking to subverting expectations,
this is your They Live night. You can do it.
They definitely do that, like from the start of the movie, right? Well, from the start of the movie, they show a little girl standing there in the hallway. You don't think a little girl's gonna be a zombie? Said the Z word again. She is. Boom.
Then they have we failed that fucking test a long time ago.
Yeah, we failed it. Then you have he's mixing it up. He got cut, an open wound in water with a undead, doesn't turn. So like they're always subverting expectations with this movie,
Right.
really.
I expected Nicole to show her titties 5 or 6 times in this film. subverted that expectation.
I was not looking for those ones.
Hold on, not Nicole, Monica the blonde. I really expected those titties a lot more.
Wait. Is that the one?
When she's
The
what's
blonde.
funny about her?
Right. Yeah. Doesn't she show them?
Yes.
Yeah. When
One
she's getting-
time, right?
Yeah. Like
Right, one
she's getting
time.
rails.
Fucking like 4 different times.
There's
Come on.
not a lot of
But
movies.
when they introduce Monica, she has blood all over her like crop top, none on her body whatsoever. They're not in her pants. It's just this.
She's
splatter
not
of blood
even
straight down
that
her shirt.
hot. She's got good hair.
She has early 2000s hair.
I mean,
she has the crimp hair
come
from the
on,
TV
come
to the
on.
TV
Perky
commercials.
She's got perky titties.
Perky
Right.
titties, like if you folded like a small paper airplane.
Dude, I've seen worse, man.
No, I'm not saying they're bad, but I ain't saying they're like Mount Rushmore. Right, Shocker?
That's
I got you,
wrong
Raymond.
and
Dave don't
Rushmore.
remember you, but I do. I don't know. Look at
It's
Dave over
uh,
there.
really distinct.
You could.
And then
Hold on.
the
hold on. Jeff is
I'm
just
gonna
like,
start
I want to go to
laughing.
fucking sleep, and you fucking guys won't stop about anything. Jeff, how did you personally
Feel
feel
free-
about
you guys can feel free to cut me off
Monica's
anytime.
cleavage? Yay or
Oh,
nay? Yay or nay? This is your moment. Monica's listening. Is
you
it?
say Monica's hot?
No, Monica's listening. Yay
Oh.
or nay? Jeff, you're the thumbs up, thumbs down guy. This is-
Yay.
there's a yay
What was
from
the question?
There you have
Monica's
it.
cleavage.
There you have it.
Or-
Voice of authority.
just in general cleavage. I mean, as a cleavage as a broad stroke.
Yeah. I'm not convinced that Monica and Steve knew each other before the mall.
I don't think they did.
I don't
no,
think
I
they
I
think
don't
did.
think they did either.
Yeah.
They don't walk in together. So
I
Um,
listen. I'd have walked in. My chair is breaking the fuck. It's so not supportive. I was gonna make a joke about this earlier. I wish I would have, because it'd have been so much. It'd been so funny. But like if I had walked in as Monica, I forgot my fucking. I had a fucking joke in the barrel, and then my fucking chair gave out on me, and I don't know what to say. I put any. It's like if I was on Steve Burrell's dick and I give any pressure, it's just. Whoa, fuck. There ain't no fucking. Listen, Modern Family may pay your bills, but it ain't fucking paying my back. Listen. Shit ain't holding up. Look.
also, I think Steve is only a character that gets a last name in this fucking movie.
Steve gets a last name?
Steve Marcus.
Oh.
He has a last name.
Interestingly, real quick, I remember back in the day being way more offended by his presence. Like, he was way more of a dickhead, way
At
more of an
least-
asshole. Maybe this is just me speaking. Watching it this time, I didn't feel quite as much hatred towards him, and that made me kind of concerned for my own self. I'm like, am I an asshole now? Am I the dickhead? But
No.
I didn't feel that he was that bad of a dickhead until he didn't watch the door in that like kind of like
Yeah.
beginning final act.
Even then, I think in hindsight, or as a crusty old man now, Steve's more of a, we're fucked. I'm gonna drink coffee and fuck the hot blonde because we're fucked. What's
What's
wrong
wrong with that?
He's not
Yeah.
actively, he doesn't actively screw anybody over until he's not watching the door.
Right?
Yeah.
And even then is more of a sin of omission. It's a sin of not caring, not a sin of I'm trying to fuck you over.
Yeah.
Right. So with him, I feel like as I've been, to be fair, I've been cynical since I was like 18 years old. So take this with a grain of salt. But I'm a cynical human being. Watching this now, I feel
Well,
like
are
I'm
you
less
cynical now? Or are you more
Do what?
cynical? Are you less cynical now?
I think
Or
I'm
more cynical?
less cynical now than I was at a younger age.
I would
because-
tend to agree. As somebody that
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, so you've seen me grow up.
I've seen your growth.
Yeah, I'm less cynical now than I used to be.
You're not
but
watching Chris every chance you get, like fucking nut shot and every chance you get. That's maturity.
That's maturity. I think with Steve, the real like he's kind of a catch-22 because like that's his. You have to like understand like that's his way of coping.
He's also
like,
the cool guy of the time. More than
the cool guy,
kind of more than anybody. He's like the cool guy. He's like I've got some money and I can you know.
He's
I fuck models and I have a boat. Like he's that guy. That's definitely him coping. His witty banter is appreciated with he's really the antithesis of Michael. Because he doesn't speak to anyone on their terms. He speaks only on his terms. He still speaks the truth.
The true truth.
But he speaks on his terms rather than he's really like the Black Mirror to Michael.
He's a
that is what he is. Which was a welcome addition. I mean, if you just had a room full of Michaels, it would be like, yes, I understand. Let's do it this way. That's great. That's talking to monotone the entire time, and we'll do things this way. That sounds awesome.
Let's tag Team Monica.
Yeah, that sounds great. So,
what's Norman doing?
Norman and Steve tag team here for both things.
Yeah. So I like the addition of Steve because of
that whole gaggle of people, the new additions of people, the secondary additions. He's the most
day
important
2 people
of them. Yeah, you could drop all of
for
them,
sure,
and he is.
I
as
like
long as you have to have Steve.
I like the redneck.
I do too. I love the redneck.
Also, because I'm a redneck when it comes to guns.
You see yourself a little bit in
Yes. I'm like, oh, you got some of the. We got 10 of these.
If I'm gonna shave my fucking shit into a CJ, I'm handing you 2 pistols as I drag you down the fucking sewers.
Please,
but I'm gonna throw myself down with
as much
you.
as that dude does at 10 feet away. But yes, please do that.
I mean, you got a lot of shit. You got a lot of shit from the sewer in your eyeballs. It's rough.
True.
It's rough.
Drag me down a slip and slide, and I'll shoot at targets with a Nerf gun.
Oh my God. Let's do that this summer.
Perfect simulation.
CJ, you cosplay as the redneck.
You're also in the sewer, and Shocker can attest because we broke in and ran around the sewers of Columbus. There's an odor factor that waters your eyes up. You can't, like, there's other environmental distractions at that point too. You're not just you're a moving target. You're moving. Your target's moving. There's smells. There's odors. There's stress. You can't ignore those factors either. But yeah, 10 feet away with a pistol, you should be headshotting every time.
Yeah, every time.
It's
an 8-inch target. It's not that hard.
But that's the thing that, they're always saying, like, you're in a zombie movie, you're going for these headshots, you're not going to make them. I don't have faith that
not at distance.
But not like you think that at sewer, with this scene, you'd be all right. If I was dragging Dave, let's say
Dave has seen me double hole shot at 30 yards
while I'm dragging you. My fucking,
not
I'm like,
you're dragging
my
me.
back.
I'm saying
my back.
I've hit the same hole 2 times in a row at 30 yards.
I got such a bad joke. I ain't saying that. I'll tell you tomorrow.
My wife just looked at me and went.
Look over at Jen and say, and do this signal from Chris.
Yeah. But
I'll tell you tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I am 98% certain that I could hit those shots at 10 feet.
Even if you're not hitting 100%, I still think you're hitting 80% of those shots.
It's like using a computer. You point click. There's no math involved. There's no like.
If I'm holding you by
involved.
your underwear, dragging you through the sewers, you ain't getting on fucking Excel in time.
Yeah, no, but I could. I'm just saying, I could definitely fucking hit those shots.
Yeah,
you really just have to punch out and aim 1 inch down from your fist. That's punch out, pull the trigger.
That's just the thing I've seen for so long. It's like the headshots aren't as easy as you think they would be. What is this fish? Can I get everybody down the line to talk with your bottom teeth? Tim, go ahead.
Bottom teeth. Hello.
Now, Jeff,
my name is Tim.
talk with your bottom teeth.
Yes.
Real quick. It's a science experiment. Okay, go ahead, Dave. Go ahead, Dave.
In
Other way.
my family, we hit womp rats at 30 meters with no problem.
Delicious.
Okay.
Jeff don't want to join the bottom teeth clan.
No.
He's like,
I'm
Just
good.
like that.
listen, if you have a bottom teeth thing, Jeff, you can.
Jeff is rethinking his life choices at this
You
point.
can yell at me later. I apologize.
Okay.
It's
Jeff,
so-
I got
it's
hold
so
on,
weird.
Jeff. We've not been recording. Let's go back to start. Okay. The open of this movie is one of the best opens of all time. Let's just start
Of
off.
all time.
If I could say
The
delicious,
intro is a masterclass.
day one.
Yeah. So day 2, okay, I'm gonna get back on track here. Day 2, then the bite turns, Andre gets defensive and distances himself from the group and isolates Luda. And this is when Kenneth is like, hey, Norma, give me the keys to your truck, I'm gonna leave. They're like, hey, no, that place is fucked. Everyone's dead. It's where you really see like how Steve character is gonna interact with the rest of the group. He's like, yeah, dead-ish. You know, he makes the whole fucking joke.
That was actually a pretty good one too.
It was a great one.
But is it that, like, I feel like, is it that bad? Is it that?
No,
I
it's
mean,
not bad.
It's pretty.
not
It's
bad.
pretty heartless for the guy that's trying to go to his brother.
But he
like,
doesn't know that.
I mean, for a stranger, you don't even know that this guy's going for his brother. Maybe if Steve knew that Kenneth was going for his brother, he wouldn't have said it that way.
Yeah, he may have just said like,
still
"Good
would've.
luck," and
Yeah.
just let him die.
That's a bunch
Like
of
his
bullshit that
brother's-
way.
Like his brother's dead. Except
Anybody,
he's not
anyways,
dead.
Ken, you got some ladies with some flat chests around here?
Well, that's early 2000s look, dog. But he finds a he
Flat
finds a
chest.
kindred. He finds a kindred spirit in Andy. I think Andy was a Marine as well, and I think they had discussed maybe that he could just tell or something. But like he found a kindred spirit in Andy, because I feel like Kenneth, even though he was
Right.
surrounded by people, felt like a man on an island, and Andy was a man on an island.
Yeah.
So
Right.
like,
It became like his substitute brother.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I and he calls him brother later in the film. Yeah, I thought that was
I
kind of an
I think
interesting
that's
scene.
the name of the C. Thomas Howell movie from the 80s where he turned himself into a black guy, Substitute Brother.
Substitute brother.
I thought that would
The-
make Jeff laugh, but it didn't. But it made everybody else smile.
There we go.
Mission accomplished.
It's been
That's
so
a wrap.
loud. I'm not sure we're allowed to laugh at that joke. We're gonna get canceled.
The ending of that movie's way worse because he's like, listen,
He's at the end of the movie. He's
James
like, "My guy's got so
Darth
easy."
Vader. I know what it takes to be a black man. Anyways,
All right, going past this moment.
not
The-
me, St. Thomas Howell.
Right.
Yes, you Thomas out.
So after that, I have the routine, that's when we go into the routine montage. And my note is, it was all fucking ruined by the lack of electricity and their ability to cope with the lack of electricity. That is okay. I have to use the restroom again.
Go ahead. I'll carry off
Okay.
from this. I'll carry.
Yes. But the entire
Yeah.
sanctity of their fucking sanctuary that they had was ruined because they fucking lost
Also-
electricity and didn't know how to fucking deal.
And didn't have the right coffee
That-
flavor.
That's it. I'll be right back.
Well, they really should have thought that through, because how long do you think the electricity is going to go out or
Yeah.
last? And yes, you have a generator downstairs. You need to be planning for the future.
Yeah.
Like, you can't I take for granted that the electricity's on 28 days of the month for my house, and then 3 days a month I forget to pay the bill and we go without electricity, and then 28 days again.
28 days later.
That's why my personal movie 28 Days Later is about paying the electric bill.
Yeah.
But for
that's why
them,
you sign all of your checks, Cillian Murphy.
The fucking spider-looking motherfucker. They should have thought ahead, and if they had planned the generator run while there's power and there's light, maybe fucking dickhead wouldn't have died down in the basement. Maybe they would have been in a lot better shape.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of makes you feel less for that kind of thing as it goes. Also, to jump right in front of this, to preempt this a little bit, is one of the things that I loved about the original so much is kind of like that fantasy of living in a mall. Mm-hmm. Like everything is yours. Anything is yours for the taking. You can play some video games. Go play your fucking video games. You want to sit in the fountain in the middle of the mall and just like dick off? You can do that in a wheelbarrow while your best friend's dragging you around while you're dying. Maybe you're not dying. I don't know. You want to go get some great fucking sausage from this? We get a little fucking hint of that in a sequence in this. We don't get as much as the original, which to me, people watching this now are like, malls? You mean unicorns? Yeah. Malls today aren't the same as they were 20 years ago or 40, 50 years ago. So
yeah, you can find guns in the mall now.
It begs the question.
It's not the same.
Would you rather hold up in a mall or a Walmart?
Now a Walmart. 20 years ago?
For sure a Walmart.
I would say 20 years ago I'd say a mall.
Most Walmarts do have guns.
Yeah.
They usually have healthy sporting goods areas. So
they have. I bought. Walmart.
And what's the bitch? Jennifer Connelly. You might get stuck in a Walmart with a Jennifer Connelly.
That's a Target, Dave.
Oh, well, Target is just a fancy Walmart.
Bat Dave. No, you're right. You're right.
But no, for sure a Walmart. But yeah, the whole fantasy of the mall is definitely like overlooked. It's for sure.
It's lost this day and age. Like then it was kind of a little bit on the way out, but not quite. Like you could kind of see through it a little bit, but like you can't stay there forever. But malls were kind of a recent thing in the late 70s, the original Romero thing. So you had this kind of fantasy of like, we could live here forever. And it's amazing. So in a way, this remake kind of gives you that, like, we can stay here and it's great for this scene, but for the foreseeable future, we're going to be an orchestra and Chris is going to orchestrate us to our fucking death. Like there's nothing left after the end of this. And I would stay there until I couldn't stay. I'm not going to put up with fucking Nicole and her bullshit. Like there's still enough there. There's perishable foods. There's going to be canned goods I can take out. Listen, if it's a couple months old, it's still fine. Like, get out of your ass. It's going to be okay.
We talked about CJ is living in this fantasy that it's going to be okay. Tomorrow or the next day, the government's coming in, somebody's coming in, it's going to be okay. But once they broke him out of there, out of that fantasy,
they ain't coming back.
That's when they should have immediately started planning. Okay, we got to plan. How's this generator running? How long is it going to run?
Right.
We need to secure that while the power's still on. Let's take inventory. What is useful in this place? What is not? How can we go out? If they fortified those trucks sooner and left before there were 10,000 zombies raining down on them.
Let me jump on your case real quick, just to jump on it. But in the original, we have a whole sequence at this point where Ken Faree and the main, I forget his name. I'm so sorry. Roger. Yes. They're doing the whole, this is when Roger gets bit. They're putting the semis in front of the fucking doors. Mm-hmm. They don't do that in this. We don't have the, these are minor
They have
complaints, they don't really matter that much in the grand scheme of things because you're living this kind of fantasy of it. But I don't feel like you get the hard fantasy that it was, and I don't feel like you get the fortification kind of fantasy, the defense of it that it was. Even when at the end, the final defense of the mall in the original, like you've got Kim Faree and the fucking ductwork of the mall shooting at Tom Savini.
Yep.
And that, like, you don't get that final defense of the mall, which maybe would have.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
it's
I
different.
think
It's
the
different.
final defense of the mall was the sewer scene.
It just
that's their version of it, right? Like,
yeah,
they break through, they get into the mall. It's time to go. Let's fucking go.
It ain't as it ain't that.
But the generator slash pregnancy Norma Andre Luda scene happens. It doesn't happen on day 31, right? It happens in like day 15 or whatever it is.
But that's what spurs them to. I'm not waiting around to die.
Right. I'm going to spur on the movement to get out of here and create an actual life, not this fantasy life that we're living in.
Yeah. I'm gonna go play Final Fantasy 7 on my own, Norma.
Right. Exactly. They realize that, like, I think at this point they realize also the generators are expendable. Like, they're not going to last forever. Again, though, it fucking boggles my mind that these people are living it up in this. They're golfing off the fucking roof. They're having all this fun time. They're fucking and recording it. They're doing all this stupid shit
in the air, Monica.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, the power's never gonna go out." Like, the power goes out and they all fucking panic. Like, they go into full fucking panic mode because they don't have electricity. It's like, dude, this should have been day 3. Like,
that's the Wi-Fi. This 20 years later, 21 years later, it don't even have to be electricity. The Wi-Fi goes out. People are going outside of the mall being like, "Where's my fucking signal? Where's my? I can't get on fucking Facebook."
I had to record the show from the McDonald's fucking parking lot in North Vernon one night because my Wi-Fi went out. So yeah, it's like being a goddamn caveman again. I will propose. I want to propose something about the mall fantasy, though. I think the mall fantasy is cut from this movie for one simple reason:
budget.
This movie doesn't have a message. It is it's a popcorn flick. George Romero, though, is deeper than that. And
at the time,
the original Dawn of the Dead is about consumerism. And so it has that message.
Yes.
And the mall fantasy feeds that message. There's no message to be fed here, so.
Not every movie has to have a message.
Oh, I agree. I love this movie.
If you're going to remake a movie with a message, though, I feel like you got to pony up on some end of the bargain. Otherwise, it don't get up the steps to even.
I'll give it a message. Donald Trump is the demise of American democracy.
It's the best movie I've ever heard of.
Donald.
So there's that.
Max says, "Yeah, Dave, agree 5,000%." I'm not sure what he was agreeing with, but I also agree, Mac. Mac, don't go away. I'm gonna read your messages a little bit and your reviews. Hold on.
My favorite part after the routine, and they do like the whole. Okay, do we want to talk about the baby zombie?
Yeah, why not? We have talked about kids not getting it in movies before. That's a big me and Dave kind of a thing. It's like, wow, so they didn't have the balls for it. They did.
I think the reason that Luda survived so long after being bit is because the baby was absorbing most of the virus.
I agree. Like fucking radiation, right?
Yep.
Like the fucking Chernobyl.
Okay,
bomb.
if you guys haven't watched Chernobyl, it is the most underrated horror flick in history. It is a horror fucking miniseries. If you don't think the radiation is a monster, you're a monster. All right? Okay, moving on.
Side note, Jimmy Carter, who just died when he was in the Navy, volunteered to be lowered into the reactors at 3 Mile Island because he's a real American badass.
He's like, what's radiation?
Well, that too. Yeah.
Jimmy Carter's just a hero.
Put me
he
in
has
that.
a hero. He has a hero complex, I should say.
Not anymore.
No, he dead now.
He did.
Laying in State is the coolest thing I've ever heard. It's a Megadeth song, but it's still Chris was laying in state. Fuck yeah.
Chris,
I lay in state
if
every
you
night.
if you pass before me,
Yeah.
I will make sure you lay in state.
Oh my god. How are you gonna hide my boner?
Just
With a handkerchief.
just drink it straight from the bottle. So yeah,
I can't let you be alone. Then that
Now-
seems like you're now.
Now let me
Chris.
talk about one aspect I want to talk about since we're kind of pretty much there. In kind of this era, Romero was, we talked about the Biohazard, the Resident Evil that he was almost a part of. But here we are, 2004. He had been trying to get another Dead movie made, despite maybe common knowledge at the time. But eventually it would be known. But it was supposedly going to be called Dead Reckoning, which would eventually, kind of because of Dawn of the Dead, this remake and how successful it was, would eventually become Land of the Dead a couple years later. And one of the big things about that movie is the vehicle in it, this kind of like vehicle of destruction that was safe from zombies. They could kind of distract them, destroy them, whatever they needed to do. But he was trying to get this idea for this Dead Reckoning movie out there, and he just couldn't get the funding for it. And you watch it now and you see these kind of battle buses. Hello, Fortnite, suck ass. I love Fortnite. Me and Tim both love Fortnite. We play Fortnite together.
we do. Bring back Leon S. Kennedy, the greatest Resident Evil character of all time.
And the Dark Knight, Christian Bale. All right, we'll give you money. What do you think the odds are that they kind of like took that Dead Reckoning idea from him, even though it would be in the Land of the Dead, this vehicle, and into these battle buses that they built kind of towards the final arc?
I have a question then. Do you think they knew about the battle buses?
I don't think it's
battle bus.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. Because he'd been
I-
trying to trying to get a
Because
new
If
Dead
they
movie
did,
made.
they intentionally made them flawed on purpose and showed how.
Well, I don't think. I think
easy-
Romero would have even done this. He would have done the same. Like, they're not impervious.
No, yeah, they're not perfect. But
Humans
they,
will
I mean,
ruin
they showed
anything.
how
Oh
these
my
fucking
God.
things fell apart so fast.
I didn't even share.
Monica got cut in half 15 seconds after they got out of the fucking mall. I mean, like,
Yeah,
which
I
They
love.
pulled
That's,
no punches.
I love that. That's kind of to me, an introduction to the decade coming is the nobody's safe, and it kind of ruined The Walking Dead for me in a way, because I kind of took that into heart, where it's like, it's kind of my dream zombie epic where you can watch something and nobody's safe. There's no stars. It's the story. It's the adventure of it. It's the disparity of it. It's not Andrew Lincoln's Walking Dead. It's not so-and-so in The Walking Dead.
Carol Dixon.
Yeah, it's not John Berthel in The Walking Dead. It's no actor is bigger than this. The story is bigger. The movie, it just was never that thing, and it never could be that thing with The Walking Dead once it got past that first season or two. And so the only like watching it back now, like watching Dawn of the Dead, it's the only thing I can look at now that has any of that, because like anybody could die. Michael dies. You won't get that
I feel like
in anything now.
in that movie, Anna was the only one that was safe. Like, watching again, I watched it twice
She was
today.
on screen safe, but
Yeah.
I mean it's to question whether they actually made it out at the end.
Yeah, and
which I love.
I'm of the opinion they all died.
I agree.
Yeah.
Real quick, let's go down the line. I agree that they died. Tim says they died. Jeff, do they make it out?
They died.
Jeff says they died. Dave,
I think they lived long enough to die.
a man after my own heart.
Yeah.
I kind of like that more. I kind of like that more. You get the hint that they lived. No, they didn't. They died. They died.
Yeah. Pull the rug out from under them.
You're like, oh shit, Nicole died. No, she didn't. Yes, she did.
I think Ving Rhames. I think he fucking tapped Nicole though. I think he destroyed that in front of Terry. I think he.
Whoa, that's too hot for midnight. God damn.
Yeah, no, I think he destroyed it.
Here.
I think he.
Girl.
That's why Terry took up camera work in his last days, is because he was a little cuck boy, and he was watching Ving Rhames ream out Nicole. Okay,
damn.
So back to Nicole.
Hold on, real quick.
Okay,
Mac. Quick question for Mac Black, our old buddy. Do you guys think Snyder's film sacrifices thematic depth for adrenaline, or does it present a new layer of commentary suited to a post 9/11 world? Which is a pretty fair question. I've never thought about a post 9/11 world for this movie, even though that's absolutely what it is. Fellas,
I don't think it.
Oh, there you go.
Hop in.
You go. I got an opinion here.
All right. I don't think that it sacrifices thematic depth, because I think that this story is a masterclass in storytelling. It starts the story off for the time period, right? You're looking at the time period 2004.
3 years. We're talking almost 3 years after 9/11.
Almost 3 years, right? So like it starts the story off. It gives you hints. Shit's not right. And then it's like, boom, 5 minutes in, first bite. Shit's definitely not fucking right. Like you're fully in. This is a undead movie now.
Yeah.
You're good. And it goes from there. And every single aspect of the movie is, with the exception of, you could say with the exception of like the mall fantasy scene, which is 15-20 seconds long.
Yeah,
it's not long.
Pathetically short.
With the exception of that, every single moment in the movie is grounded in the story. There's no wasted time in this movie. It's 130 minutes long, and there's no wasted time.
Yeah,
and every single second matters. So I don't think that there's any sacrifices in the thematics.
No,
I think there are seconds that are sacrificed for this sake of action.
Now that's thematically speaking for like speaking of a post 9/11 world. How do you think this fits into that idea? Because I've honestly never thought of this post 9/11 idea.
I will say as a fan of 80s and 90s action films, they waste way more time on action sequences than story. And this perfectly melded action sequences with story. Like, okay, watch Total Recall and tell me there's not like sections of action that are completely fucking unnecessary to the story.
You're talking about the Colin Firth version, right? Yeah, the Colin. What's the Irish guy's name?
Penguin.
The remake. You're not talking about the original. You're talking
about
the
original.
The Penguin.
But like.
Quink.
Okay, so a perfect post 9/11 take is the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie that he did. Was it Firewatcher? Right after 9/11.
End of days?
He doesn't use a gun. He only uses a fucking fire axe to kill people. Is it Firewatcher? What is that movie called?
Firewatch.
Something like that. He fucking like doesn't use a gun, doesn't fucking like never attacks anyone. It's like showing this like pacifist attitude. This movie like does not do that. Its action sequences are directly related to the story sequences. There's nothing superfluous about any portion of the movie, with the exception of the slow-mo ammo hitting the floor scenes, which whatever, I don't fucking care.
I agree.
They're like 4 seconds. There's 5 of them, by the way. I counted them today. There's like a 9mm shell, a 357 shell, like 2 or 3 different fucking shotgun shells.
I ain't gonna break my chair more. Max says, Tim, question. In the wake of 9/11, audiences craved intensity. Films like The Born Identity and War of the Worlds thrived because they echoed a visceral fight or flight response. Snyder's decision to make the zombies fast and deadly can be seen as catering to their need for immediacy and adrenaline, capturing the relentless energy.
The restless energy.
The restless energy of a post 9/11 audience.
So I mean, would
let me jump in real quick.
Yep.
After a tragedy, horror's always up.
Yep.
Horror and the like is always up.
Which is the great thing about the 2024 election, because we're going to get some good horror movies in the next couple of years.
Yep.
Unlike The Substance.
Get out.
Horror's always hot after tragedy. It's kind of a thing. So, I mean, we're talking 3 years after this. Is he still, Tim? Do you think he's Snyder, Gunn are still reflecting on kind of this thing? Or are they trying to?
I also watched House of the Dead in theaters.
Oh, on purpose?
Let me drink some
on
more.
purpose. I was supposed to meet some friends there. Apparently, I went to the wrong movie theater. Luckily, Mom was gracious enough to drop me off and let me watch that movie.
If they tricked you into watching House of the Dead, they were not friends.
Well, no one knew how bad it was. We had the internet back then. But
did you play that game? The game is terrible.
Everybody knows who Uwe
House
Boll
of the
was.
Dead is fucking awesome.
Yeah, Uwe Boll.
If you're playing the actual light gun game.
Yes.
Hold on. Get back.
Terrible.
Let's get back on track. Mac Black, 9/11.
No,
Okay.
that's what I'm saying.
Post 9/11.
Like, I watched House of the Dead, the movie, right? I also watched Scooby Doo the movie. I'm thinking of all of my post 9/11 films, like Scooby Doo the movie. There are bombastic, and I use that word in its integrity, bombastic. Things that are larger than life that don't necessarily have meaning. They're just fucking larger than life. But we are way more bombastic now than we were back post 9/11. But
there's an ironic
there's
an intentional irony to the bombacity of
the bombastic we are now, exactly. What versus then, right? You know, so this is not bombastic in its action, with the exception of the 2 explosion scenes.
Which
this is grounded in what could actually happen.
So here's my thought on
like superhero movies. Dog, yes.
I want to give 2 quick opinions about Mac Black's question here and post 9/11. One, I would be very interested to really dive into this and look at, because my first thought of a post 9/11 is, did movies become bleaker? Did we have more movies where nobody's safe, or fewer people are safe, or the bad guy wins? I would really like to deep dive into that sometime.
Let's do it.
Also, the Patriots won the Super Bowl, and they were nothing before then, so that was definitely post 9/11. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the NFL, but the other thing I would say, Zack Snyder and James Gunn, and I'm going to say it, here's my hot take. They do action well, and they do popcorn movies well, but they don't squeeze meaning in there. That's not what they do. They're
bullshit. I absolutely disagree on the James Gunn front. I've not cared about a superhero movie unless James Gunn is in the writing of it.
I think the Guardians trilogies, the Guardians trilogies are great, but they're not deep meaning things. That's not what his
bullshit
forte is.
Bull fucking shit. bull fucking shit. He can make you
It's
care about a
popcorn
fucking
entertainment.
squirrel in a movie that it doesn't even have a connection to the beginning movies. I have complete faith in James Gunn after this movie, but then what he's done after, like, he can make you care about shit that you're like, who cares?
Did he write Iron Man?
But I don't think that's different than squeezing than putting meaning into, because
What do you consider
for one,
meaning then?
the pinnacle of James Gunn writing is it found in the Peacemaker series. Yeah, I stand on business.
James Gunn
No,
is
I
an
don't. I
ensemble
love the
writer.
Peacemaker series. That's the pinnacle of James Gunn writing. I do not agree.
I don't think that it's. I'm not saying it's not good. It is good, but I don't think it's deep.
What's deep? I'm confused.
Zack Snyder and James Gunn, I don't think
No,
they're deep.
I agree. Zack Snyder's not deep whatsoever. He is creative and visual aspects of it. James Gunn has the ability to absolutely bring emotion.
They don't have the ability, but I think they both go into the week because they're.
I will give Guardians of the Galaxy fucking one more emotional depth than the substance. It is a fucking ocean compared to the substance. Come at me, fucking internet. There's more emotion in Chris Pratt saying, we're the Guardians of the fucking Galaxy, and then does a stupid, goofy dance, than Demi Moore being like, I'm an old bitch, make me young. That is not depth. That's somebody being old, wanting to be young. That is not
Demi
depth.
Moore lifted up her shirt and showed her titties on the red carpet.
She has the smallest crack that I've ever seen in my life compared to a fucking homeless man.
They are both really good.
There's
at just
no
taking
depth in that crack.
Cool
Mac,
and putting them into the movie.
Quote me.
They're both really good at putting things they think are cool in the movie, and for the most part, they're right. That's a lot of cool stuff.
No,
but it doesn't. It's not a. It's
I've already seen the stuff in the substance that was supposed to be depth. I saw more depth in what is the Rainn Wilson movie that Super. I saw more depth in that when his sidekick died than in the substance. The substance is, regurgitated bullshit for celebrities. It's not it. And Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is deeper than the substance. Come at me, internet.
No.
The fucking platypus girl is a more painful death than anything that happens in the substance. I'll fight in a mud pit.
You're talking about emotional response, but depth of meaning. I'm not saying you.
Meaning is an emotion. Wow, that's cool.
I'm not saying that they're not good movies or entertaining movies.
Oh,
the number one criteria for when I rate a movie
is made up
on
feelings. I see.
Is it entertaining? That's the most. That's the most weight to that category. Is it entertaining?
Okay.
And James Gunn and Zack Snyder check those boxes for me.
But not as much as whoever this is that made that Demi Moore movie that was kind of boring.
Scream?
No, the Fly ripoff. No, the Fly ripoff.
It was Liev Schreiber.
Liev Schreiber's The Fly. I'm gonna call the substance Liev Schreiber's The Fly for the rest of my life. My chair's so broken, you guys. I am sitting up so upright. Me and Dave just got in a big fight, and nobody was jumping in to throw their appealings in. That's why it's just me and Dave's the horror house. I'm losing my voice. Jeff, jump in.
I have never watched The Substance. I have no
Jeff's watched The
fucking
Substance.
regard for that movie.
Jeff,
I will, and the next time we're on, if I fucking hate it, that's all I'll bring up is how much I fucking hate it.
I don't know.
It's body horror. You're predisposed.
No, I was predisposed to this movie, and I watched it with an analytical mind, and I found a lot of fucking deep, meaningful connection.
He's made a 31-day chart.
Yeah, no shit. Michael came on day 26, just so you know.
Oh my!
That's when he finally rubbed one out. That's when he felt comfortable enough to rub one out and fall asleep.
He's like, Anna, I heard you were a nurse.
Yeah.
Left it in the car. I made a chart of all the chores they completed during their 31 days in the mall because clearly somebody was sweeping and mopping and taking out the trash.
The floor was immaculate.
Yes.
Who was doing this? CJ and Bart were in jail.
Norma.
Oh, maybe.
They were in jail listening to Glenn talk about his first sexual awakening.
He's like, I
When he
spit
was
on my
13,
hand for the
there was
first
a guy
time.
building his deck.
And CJ's like, shut up!
Astonishing blue eyes. I think he was talking about me.
Hold
just
on.
so we're clear.
Da-da-da-ba-da-da.
Yep. Glenn was like, he had astonishing blue eyes and a giant schnoz.
And his cock was so big.
But not as big as his nose.
That's me. Zoom in.
Fucking shit. Hold on, I'm drunk.
There you go. Astonishing blue eyes, giant fucking nose. That's me. All right.
Okay.
So I am Glenn's gay awakening. I'm not gay, by the way. But I
you're
was
an
Glenn's
awakening.
gay awakening.
You're awakening, if anything. Max says, to be honest, after 9/11 films kind of ghosted us, some movies like Harry Potter and The Lord of the Rings, Tim, stepped in as the ultimate escapism. Like, instead of processing the chaos, we collectively hit pause and let wizards, hobbits, and amniotic fluids drape us in the world of curtains burning. It's like Hollywood said, don't look at the fire, it's us burning. And epic fires instead. Fires genius. Fires. I'm illiterate. Fires.
I'm not in the chat, so I can't verify what you're reading, but I'm
Amnesiac.
Okay.
He said amnesiac spies distract us. Amnesiac spies referring to Jason Bourne. Amnesiac spies distract us from the
Loki
world,
genius,
literally
and also kind of sus how quickly everyone jumped on the fantasy train to avoid these big feelings. So that's an opinion.
I was in 7th grade when 9/11 happened. So like
I had
didn't
just
have the mental faculties
graduated. I think Jeff was getting ready to. 9/11, Jeff?
What?
9/11?
High school.
Yeah.
thumbs up or thumbs down.
Thumbs up, thumbs down for 9/11.
Oh yeah, definitely.
thumbs down.
Were you on the way out of high school, or were you almost on the way out of high school?
Almost on the way out.
Okay.
I was in Mrs. Anderson's advanced math class, 7th grade.
Well,
we saw the
what?
towers fall on the TV. I would say that after 9/11,
Do you think films let us down, or do you think kind of popcorn flicks kind of try to pad
propped
that?
us up.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Like, we got wizards and warriors and it's Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter but
I don't think it's just 9/11. I think we have a more superficial society, and it's about the quick entertainment and
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that films, because
media in general kind of hovers around things.
I don't know if you guys ever read Lord of the Rings.
Absolutely not.
The Hobbit is fantastic.
Absolutely not.
Lord of the Rings is a fucking bog. If you've ever read J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, compared to The Hobbit, it is a fucking slog of a read. It is. I do not like his writing style. I read Catcher in the Rye once a year just to reaffirm how much I fucking hate Holden Caulfield as a character. I fucking hate Holden Caulfield. He's the worst main character in literary history.
Dave's gave me shit for reading on the show before. And then Dave was like, I've got some authors, and I'm like, fuck off.
I actually read every night before bed now. I did really good this year developing that habit. So
Yeah. And what do you have to say about Chris from 5 years ago, Dave?
Chris.
Now I've got a broken chair.
I'm sorry I called you a nerd. I'm glad your chair broke.
So I will say that like those literary classics like Harry Potter, I have all first editions. That is my son's college fund, by the way.
Middle name.
I'm gonna just sell my first. I'm gonna sell all my Harry Potter first editions to fund his college.
Oh.
I bought them opening night every single time.
There you go.
Literary classics like that became popular movies, those were already in the works pre 9/11, so I don't feel like that those are kind of like conducive to like the overall feeling of it. Movies like Live Free or Die Hard, like those post 9/11 movies that came out, that were conceived and came out post 9/11.
So those are really
what we're talking about.
Aren't the
characterized by American exceptionalism?
Exactly. Yeah.
So
those are really what you need to look at.
So Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter aren't that.
They are not that, in my opinion. Those were conceptualized and started before 9/11. Like Dave said, American exceptionalism movies like Live Free or Die Hard.
Collateral Damage, by the way, is the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie you were trying to
Collateral Damage. That was also a 9/11 movie.
Spider-Man
2.
Spider-Man. Yep.
The
Spider-Man
of spiders.
There's
just the one smiling at my
Punisher. The Punisher is a great one.
The Spider of Punishers.
So those movies came out those were really post 9/11 movies.
When's the last time you watched like the Tobey Maguire the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans? When's the last time you watched those? You guys
watched Spider-Man 2.
How long ago?
With Doc Ock. Probably a month ago. It's still fantastic.
I want to say about a month or a month and a half ago, I got up in the morning and Stella had got up with the dogs early and was watching the Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans, the Amazing Spider-Mans. So, I mean,
best Spider-Man we've had in the last decade.
Garfield?
Yes.
Garfield the Spider-Man?
Notoriously, Peter Parker is a cool kid in the comic books.
I didn't say best Peter Parker. I said best Spider-Man.
We're going to have to start a fucking nerd podcast. Yeah. I feel like is the only...
Andrew Garfield is the best Spider-Man we've had in the last decade.
Superman kills them all.
Yes, because he's super fucking man.
Yeah.
But Andrew Garfield...
Okay, what more do you want from a man? You want an insect man? Get the...
Tom Holland as Peter Parker is believable.
Andrew
Garfield
Ralph.
as Peter Parker, not believable. Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, absolutely the best.
Brandon Routh had a fucking love baby that he didn't care about. Tell me a more hardcore... Brandon Routh, Superman Returns. He fathered a child he didn't give a shit about.
Yes.
What's more hardcore than that?
In real life?
No, in the movie.
Raised by a human stepdaddy.
Yeah. It's like, oh shit, that's my kid? That's a Superman movie?
He didn't know.
He pretty much knew.
He at the end of the movie,
when he was stalking, he knew.
Yeah, there was a deleted scene where he flew the baby into the
It wasn't even deleted. It wasn't even deleted. He's stalking. Superman stalking.
But Andrew Garfield is the best Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's crawling around the fucking guy being like, oh god, I'm afraid of knives.
Yeah, but who was the best actor to ever play Morbius? That's what people really want to
know. The guy from the animated series, probably.
And yeah, Spider-Man the animated series, but with a guy from not Motley Crue, Aerosmith that did the music.
Stephen Perry.
Thank you.
Perry Stevenson.
That star Stephen Perry.
Perry Stevenson. Pools and supplies. Guys, Jeff, get in here. Any other thoughts on Dawn of the Dead? Before we went hard on superheroes.
Spider-Man?
No.
Or anything for the sun.
Spider of the
give us
Dawn
a
of
hot
the Spiders of the Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead spiders.
Or Snyder's Army of the Dead. What's it? You know, any final thoughts?
Okay, sorry.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Jeff, before you start, how do you guys feel about Andy dying?
Who the fuck is that?
The guy at the gun store.
Guy.
What gun store?
The gun store across the parking lot of the mall.
Oh, as an
I just
actor?
wanna, that's the final thing I need to know. Like, I felt like it was
Great character.
okay to the story.
Great character. I think it's a great to the story.
Yeah.
Action
Jeff, how do you
wise?
feel? Him dying. Is it okay with you?
No.
Not okay.
You thought he should have lived?
Yes.
Okay.
He has a gun store. He's guns.
He has a gun store. He has
He should
guns.
just join the rest of them.
Your logic is sound, my friend.
right?
I don't
Screw
disagree.
Nicole.
Fuck Nicole.
I'm
Leave him with the
raising my
dog.
hand.
We
I'm
will
raising my
trade.
hand.
We will trade one Nicole for your Andy.
He's
Why
the
the hell in 31 days did no one ever think to write on the fucking whiteboard the bites cause the infection?
Don't get bit.
Right.
Don't get
No,
bit,
nobody
brother.
could have wrote that on the fucking board.
I'm still of the aspect that they could have shot fishing line over to the fucking roof.
To give him a sandwich.
20 pound test line.
Here's some
I
cheap.
could have
ran-
cast it over there with the fly.
Andy, I'm sorry. All we've got's hot Cheetos. You don't want regular Cheetos?
That roof was further than 100 yards. I don't think you can cast a fly rod 100 yards.
I feel like you could get something. Tested, you'll figure something.
We'll do it.
In 31 days, the wind never blew enough. You could fly a fucking kite over to him.
I mean, yeah, a kite, something. You said a fly rod. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, I don't think it was 100 feet. I think it was across the fucking parking lot.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, a parking lot's pretty big, though. I think it's at least 300 yards. It's at least 3 football fields.
I probably could have jumped it.
I mean, you got time. You got time to work
You can shoot me
this
the
out.
shotgun with a
You got,
face.
you got
fine.
time to
You're
work this shit out. You can figure it out.
But I'm saying, a 70-pound draw compound
Uncurve.
bow with a 20-pound test line. I am certain I can make it to 300 yards. I am fucking certain I could.
It's not like you even need to be accurate. You get it to the roof.
Land on the fucking roof. Yeah.
Okay, Tim, you're Ving Rhames. I'm Andy. We'll give it some time. I give you time to try to figure this problem out. I'm starving, but listen. What's
Do you
my
have any
other
bows
option?
and arrows?
Maybe.
The answer is yes or no,
Maybe.
Andy.
I don't know.
It
This
was
is movie magic. Maybe.
2024 instead of 2004. They could have tied a ham sandwich to a fucking drone and flown it to him.
Yeah.
That's true.
I don't know how they would do
That's
Dawn of
true.
the Dead, 20 years later. That may
RC
be,
car.
that may be a whole
Why
new
didn't they fucking put a
episode.
sandwich on an RC car and drove it over to him.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying, yeah.
You're gonna have to
Yeah,
find
we could-
somebody that can.
yeah, I could figure
you're gonna have to
something.
We
Wait,
would
wait,
run into the
wait.
same fucking issue, though.
No,
Same fucking
no.
issue. He opens the fucking doggy door.
And some bitch is gonna
Dog
be like
comes
my
in,
RC car.
He doesn't fucking close it right away.
Because I still would have put on the whiteboard, the bite causes infection. Period.
Yeah.
Three fucking words to communicate.
Don't get
what's going-
bit. That's more important
Yeah.
than alive inside.
They
But
were
What I would have done
they were
is-
they were busy playing fucking chess, and he needed to know what caused the fucking infection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would have used a fucking compound bow, shot a line over, had them in the mall with their unlimited fucking resources, build a tower 20 feet over my fucking roof line, and then just slid a fucking like a fucking bag on that 20-pound test line
Cheese
down
sandwich.
to me with food.
Yeah.
Delicious.
It's so fucking easy. I
I
don't
would've
know
got-
why no one thought of it.
I would have got a good Zepco 404.
Bless you.
Put a ham sandwich on a hook, cast it over there.
You're not gonna cast a fucking sandwich 300 yards, Dave. I know you're strong. You're not that fucking strong.
I've seen him. He's leg pressed a ton.
300 yards is 3 football fields.
Have you ever leg pressed a ton?
That's actually less than 3 football fields.
I've seen
even
it.
the fucking 15 yards in each end zone.
Yeah, but have you seen me when I've drank whiskey? I have super strength, man.
He's lost
Everyone
his
does
glasses and
when they drink
still
whiskey,
ended a
dog.
fucking podcast.
Everyone does.
I
You're
would have
not casting the line that long.
I would have put that ham sandwich on a hook, and when Andy picked it up, I'd have fucking reeled him over to the floor.
Reeled Andy in.
Just one fucking fly swip, and he would have been over on the roof.
What's up, brother? How you doing,
caught
brother?
him with Nicole's body. Her fucking slender body
She's
is
the
crushed
bait.
during this process.
Nicole's the bait.
We're remaking this movie right fucking now.
Oh my god.
Okay.
We've got so much.
Andy definitely could have lived. I was okay with his death.
It's
But he
Nicole's fault.
definitely could have lived.
It's Nicole's fault.
Nicole's fault, 100%.
Let's go down the line.
Well, no,
Nicole's
no, no.
fault.
Actually,
no, hold on.
Nicole-
No. We're going to go down from me to Dave. Nicole's fault. Tim?
Andy's death?
Yeah.
Not Nicole's fault, no.
Jeff?
The dog's fault.
The dog's fault.
The dog's fault.
Dave?
Took too long to come in.
Twist. I don't think it's Nicole's fault because I don't blame the retarded kids.
There it is. Wow, I thought you
But
guys
no.
would be more on my side.
No,
I got
it's
to
not-
pee so
no.
bad.
Everyone else decided on. Nicole was against the dog idea. She
Yeah.
didn't want the dog idea.
Yeah. But then she's the one that ruined the idea of it.
No. She's the one who ruined the escape plan.
Yeah, because
Because
she
she
led
ran
them
over there,
She led them
got
all
caught by
into
Andy the
the
Zom-
into
Andy
the
the
escape
Undead.
of it. If they hadn't,
They all
if they had just let Andy go, I'm sorry, that
They didn't-
sucks.
No, they all would have died sooner because they have no ammo.
They would have been fine.
Nope.
They've got so
Alright.
much vanilla flavor in that hopscotch vanilla fucking latte shop.
They ran out of lemon though.
Yeah.
Oh
'Cause
my
Steve
god!
likes it in his
Oh my
booze.
god! Do they got lime? Poor babies. Oh.
So I got a question for our munitions expert.
That's me apparently.
Same size. There are 3 different propane explosions in this movie.
Yes, sir.
2 of them are just regular grill-sized propane tanks.
Yep.
One creates a fucking shockwave that rock the fucking buses
About a
and everything
nuke.
else.
About a nuke, as far
And
as I
one is
know.
like, and one is like, boop, M80 firework. Come on, can I get some consistency in your explosives here?
I have no fucking idea how much a propane tank explodes.
Wow.
I'm 100% honest.
I
Never blown up
agree.
a propane
Jeff, with
tank.
your hands real
I will
quick.
say
Show the
I have-
expansiveness of a propane tank explosion. Visually
I have
speaking.
wrapped.
Let's see from
20
Jeff.
spark.
Our propane tank expert now. With your hands.
Jeff, do you sell propane and propane accessories?
There was explosion
Oh, yeah, sure.
with a gun and fire. What would you show with your hands? How big would that be? About yay big?
Yeah. Yeah.
A little bit smaller than I was expecting, but yes,
I
respectable.
have wrapped 20 sparklers, like firework sparklers, in electrical tape and blown those up. Pretty big explosion. I mean, it's decent. It's the concussive force is pretty brutal. So I can only imagine a propane tank. I don't think the fireball would be that big, but I bet the concussive force would be pretty substantial.
Well, according to
Check your
Google,
guts.
a 2-pound propane tank create a huge fireball that can reach up to 10 feet in height.
That's
but
not- yeah.
the one they blew was almost a tactical fucking nuke.
Yeah, it was like 50
one,
feet high.
So one
Yeah.
Tim and half of me is about 10 feet.
Yeah.
Well, Tim and Chris and then a baby standing on your shoulders is about 10 feet.
Yeah, one zombie baby, about yay big.
It's a little underweight baby. They should have been feeding that baby a little more
Yeah,
raw
it was
meat.
pretty hungry, man.
But no, the propane tanks were pretty.
But it was good. It was a good idea for
Yeah,
the time.
no,
I feel like
I also
liked it.
when I rewatched it the first time, which was 2 days ago, they threw the propane tank out with the flare, and I was like, why the fuck hasn't it exploded yet?
And then the Dave
And I
zombie
realized,
picked it up, buff as
oh shit,
and he's like,
they don't.
That's,
They didn't open the
that's a good zombie.
valve. They're just showing the valve to show that it's a propane tank. The flare is there to set it off when they shoot it. I was like, oh shit, that makes sense. That's super smart. They
CJ,
blow it up, it explodes. I like that.
CJ learned that from you. If I'm CJ,
But the I don't know how. I assume that if it's a full propane tank, you send it out there with a road flare, it
Who
gets
has a full
instantly
propane tank?
combusted, because you have to imagine that propane is under pressure. I have to
Under
imagine
pressure.
the fucking the pressure with which that shit explodes is pretty substantial. At least 30 psi.
Oh,
That's 30 pounds per
Pussies per
square
inch?
inch.
that's what I
That's
said.
being instantly fucking detonated. I mean,
Yeah.
it's compounded as you escape right from the vessel. So that's what I do for a living, by the way, guys. I do pressure vessels. So it's expounded as it escapes from the vessel. So like anything staying close to it, it's getting hit with 30 pounds of pressure per square inch of its body. I mean, that could launch something fucking like 70, 80, 100 feet away, depending on how much it weighs.
I'm going to hit your mom with 30 pounds of square inch tonight.
Right. Thank you. Let me know when. I mean, it's gonna be pretty substantial. I mean, it really will be. We'll have to like just take a fucking propane tank out to the gun range and
Is that loud?
give the range warden like $100 to fucking go fuck off for an
if we
hour.
blow this
They
up,
don't even want you to shoot anything but fucking paper
will you be
targets.
quiet?
Yeah.
They've become Nazis out there.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll
I
just,
thought
we'll
he
just give
looked
him
like one.
$100. But like, go get a coffee. We'll be done in a
All
minute.
right, all right. Time has come. We have to bring this down, or I'm gonna get shot with a proper tank by my wife. Let's get
We
our.
get 3 hours tonight, boys. Woo!
It's hot going. So let's go down the line. I'm gonna start with me. Go Dave, Jeff, Tim. Let's get our final thoughts and opinions. Rate this bitch 0 out of 10. You can put as many fucking 1.7 if that's what you want to do. I don't think you should do that, but if you want to do that, that's absolutely up to you.
Just so I know, as a horror film or as a film
As what you want it to be.
Totally
Your
subjective.
personal opinion.
Numbers don't mean anything. Math is fake.
Mine
Okay.
numbers don't mean anything compared to Dave's, compared to Jeff's, compared to yours. It's yours.
Cool.
But we still
All right.
apply them towards each other. because why wouldn't you?
Well, Chris, you're first, dog.
We didn't tell our story, Tim, but real quick, I'll give the beginning of it. You can give the end of it. Me and Tim saw this together.
Oh yeah.
In 2004 when it came out, because I was waiting for this shit. I was an OG fan of the original, waiting for this to come out, and but me and Tim went with my wife to be.
What theater did you go to?
In Madison.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Madison,
You
Indiana.
went
And I'm still a walker when it comes to runners versus walkers, but even this I can't deny. One of my favorites is Return of the Living Dead, which has runners. This is one of my favorites, which has runners, so I still prefer walkers. That's just a me thing. I love seeing humanity fail on its own bullshit, and that's a walker thing. But that said, still there's things I don't like about this. I think the mall aspect of it is lost a little bit. I think there's some characters that are kind of worthless and don't mean anything. There's some shots in this, like the slow motion shots we were talking about, not great. 20 years later, at the time maybe they were okay, but these kind of slow motion Zack Snyder stunts, not my favorite. I still give it an 8 out of 10. But that said, if you guys don't mind in your reviews, do you prefer this remake or the original? I still pretty much prefer the original, even though I love this one. I think this one is a great, maybe the best remake for my money.
And it is a remake, not a like a remaster, not a it's a remake reimagining for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, still 8 out of 10. Dave, go ahead.
Sure. I prefer the OG because of that deeper meaning, because of the social commentary at the start. The original, if we remember, doesn't start at the mall either. It starts with the police going into poor neighborhoods, and there's cops that are specifically say some racist shit as they're going in and killing people. So the zombies almost at the start are substitutes for minorities. I kind of feel like again,
yeah,
you mentioned Land of the Dead, Ramiro, and the meaning of Land of the Dead. You know, it's very much the haves versus the have-nots. You have John Leguizamo, who is doing the dirty works for the haves, thinking he's going to get into fucking whatever Green Acres or whatever they called it.
Yeah.
And then they screw him over anyway. And then as a zombie, he comes back to fuck them over.
Yeah.
So Ramiro is great for that, and that's kind of why I like the original more. Although this is absolutely fan-fucking-tastic, but not the best remake of all time. That honor would go to The Thing.
Oh, hot talk.
So
After
actually,
talk.
I think I even put The Thing over The Fly, but The Fly I think goes over Dawn of the Dead.
Fair. What do you give this out of 10?
Remake. So I already had my score down. I also gave it an 8.
An 8? 2 8s out of 10, Jeff. Jeff, my friend, get your final thoughts. Whatever you have to say, get it in there.
It's a good movie. I was one of those ones I was not really into at the time when it came out, because it was like, the original was, why remake something if the original's already good, you know?
Sure.
There's so much other things you could remake that is crap, or the technology's better now to redo it well. But rewatching it again, I do like it. It has more action in it. It is a better remake than a lot of other remakes.
Sure.
So, but I give it a 7.
7 out of 10. Do you prefer the original or the remake? I assume
the original.
Okay. I had a feeling. I feel like you already said it, but I didn't want to infer. Tim, my friend, my best friend, my lovely. Please tell me, what is your rating?
I watched the remake before I watched the original. That's Chris's fault. Don't blame me.
He wouldn't. All
right.
He wouldn't.
I was scared. But I watched I put the remake above the original because I enjoy. I say that now. I probably, if you had asked me like 10, 20 years ago when I first watched it, if I was looking at it analytically, I probably would go flip-flop on that. I see a lot of the subtlety they put into this movie. It is heavy on the early 2000s action, no doubt. There's a lot of subtlety in the movie that I think is lost on the early 2000s crowd, that these people as legitimate filmmakers were trying to put into the movie that was just lost.
Right.
Now, watching it now in 2024, 20 years later, 2025 now, I see a lot of the subtleties and I really, really respect them.
I do think this is a tighter movie.
It is, for sure. My score is all, as a film in general, not as a horror film, it's an 8 out of 10 for me as well. I think it's absolutely fantastic. A 10 out of 10 film for me is like Cool Hand Luke or Shawshank Redemption. Like it, like literally perfect movies. Like movies that have no flaws, in my opinion. But this movie is really, really good. It's a horror movie that in my realm of movies in general hits an 8 out of 10. So horror movies don't typically hit that sort of grade.
Speak for yourself.
Cabin in the Woods, also an 8 out of 10. Watch it. It's so fucking good.
Really good.
I fucking love Cabin in the Woods. It's such a good movie.
There you have it.
But yeah, 8 out of 10 for me. I think the acting is phenomenal, except for Nicole. Fuck Nicole. And Terry. Fuck Nicole and Terry.
Yeah.
NNT can die.
Yeah.
TNT is not dynamite. It's terrible is what it is. So Terry and Nicole, they survived. They should have died. They're terrible.
What you say?
Yeah. TNT died. But terrible characters. But the movie as a whole, the pacing is masterclass in movie making.
Never stops.
The character development in hindsight is also absolutely phenomenal. CJ is a masterclass in what character development look like. The character stays the same, but his role changes. That is character development.
He reads the Cosmo and learns some shit about himself, which we can
and
all,
he stays he's the same person, but he maintains the same role in the group. He is a masterclass in the other characters changing their perception of what he can bring to the table.
Character arc you could ever want, because he's still CJ, but
he's still CJ.
He's expanded CJ.
Exactly.
I almost shaved my shit into CJ. I think I've said that, but I should have.
The scores give us an average score this week of 7.75.
There you go.
So just shy of an 8.
Probably one of our highest this season.
It's an absolutely fantastic film. So
I think we all agree.
If you haven't watched it, definitely give it a watch. Even if you're a film buff, I recommend watching it. It is a absolute, again, I've said this probably a dozen times at this point, it is a master class in film making, just in general. The pacing.
That's why people shouldn't worry about the Superman movie. James Gunn knows how to make a movie. Knows how to make a movie.
James Gunn's do fine, and he's making it. He's forcibly making it an ensemble cast,
except
in a non-ensemble movie
that doesn't like porcupine characters that are
Sonic. The Hedgehog. He's not a porcupine. He's a hedgehog.
I'm talking about the female platypus. Anyways, we will be back next week. I don't know what we're doing next week. I don't know if we know what we're doing next week. Unwelcome. Who?
Jeff's pick.
Is this the third one? In a who's done? Spit them off, Jeff.
Was Grabbers.
Tormented.
And then we did Tormented.
And then here we go with, what was it?
I don't remember.
Dave?
Unwelcome.
If you guys do video game horror, let me know, because I think I've played the most video game horror games of anyone here, like start to finish.
Probably.
Bro, I'm a beast on Miss Pac-Man. So
okay.
Don't talk video game horror to me.
I've unfortunately had to film him. I
will kick your ass at some Qbert.
He's a Donkey Kong master. I've watched firsthand.
I have too.
Oh, yeah,
I've been there.
I'm a Donkey Kong.
I'm saying, if you guys do horror video games, I'm a big fan.
You're being chased by a gorilla. That's not horror.
No,
right.
What pixels are you talking about?
You're a purple blob with a dick nose. That's not horror.
No, that's a fantasy.
You're right.
Purple blob with a dick nose? Come on now. I'm almost there. I'm just not purple. Like, come on.
And your entire job is jumping on blocks?
All right, real quick before we quit. Real quick before we quit. Tim, last words. I'm giving it to you. I'm getting hugged by a bear. Mac asks Tim, any chance? Yeah, any chance this doesn't happen again? Could you give us your top 5 horror picks?
Horror picks as far as movies go?
I assume so.
Sure.
Top 5 horror picks. Real quick.
Yeah.
This is he's
Um,
gonna give us this, and then I'm gonna cut us off.
Yep,
Like it's the end of a news broadcast and it's Dawn of the Dead. And you got to get in your mall
I gotcha.
with me and my bear.
As far as horror movies go, I really like Cabin in the Woods. Probably my favorite horror film. Dawn of the Dead remake, Day of the Dead. Chris ingrained that movie into me so fucking hard. I love Bub, probably just under how much Chris loves Bub. Love that movie. Number 4 would most likely be, thinking here,
Hellraiser, Nightmare on Elm Street.
no,
Jaws.
probably
The
I'm
The
trying to think
Lighthouse?
here. No.
you said Lighthouse.
Not Insomnia. What's that movie?
Shortcut?
Nightmare on Elm Street
No.
3.
Nope.
The Babadook.
The movie that's Jen's favorite.
The Babadook.
Not the Babadook. The Babadook's the worst horror film of all time. Fuck that movie. Fuck off. So first is Cabin in the Woods. Second is
War of the
Yeah.
Worlds. Johnny Depp.
Dawn of the Dead remake. Day of the Dead.
We're so trying to influence you.
Not
right now.
not Deception. What
Jeff.
the fuck is that
Jeff
movie
throwing a
called?
movie. Dr.
So-
Phibes rides again.
Nope. I'm gonna look it up. You guys are making me look it up. God damn it.
The Seven Deadly Brides of Dracula.
No, none of those.
Oh
Seven
no,
Golden
where'd my dick
Vampire.
go? Vampires.
Psycho Gorman.
Ooh, that's a good. I love Psycho Gorman. That's better than it deserves to be.
It is. I love when he just tries to speed off from his wife. He's like, I'm done, bitch.
What the fuck is that movie that she likes?
Flash Gordon.
No,
Flash Gordon.
it starts with a
She's
D.
not around to ask.
I know she fucking walked away.
Dick Dietrich's Late Night, whatever that. Late
Bathroom
Night
break,
show was?
Tim.
The Dark Knight.
Find her.
Dark
No,
Knight. Batman?
with the fucking the couple that
Bigelow.
The couple.
that looks at horror stuff. It's not Insidious. Oh, Insidious. Yeah, it's Insidious.
It's not-
You went way
Conjuring.
hard. You went way
No,
hard.
not The
from-
Conjuring. I was looking at D's, and it doesn't have a D. It has a hard D in the middle, but Insidious is
No.
number 4. I would say number 5 is probably going to be.
Wait, number 4
Correct.
wasn't even your pick. It was your wife's pick.
No, I really like that movie though. It's really good. I really like Insidious.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
With a dick
No,
in the middle.
not that one.
The
let's see,
Peter
number
Pan.
5.
It looks really good.
No, number 5 is Waterworld with Kevin Costner because I don't know how that movie got fucking made, and it scares me. All right, so
That movie is
Bureaucracy.
great. I fucking love that
Bureaucracy,
movie.
the movie.
Costner is in it.
no,
That movie and Mailman, which is also a Kevin Costner post-apocalyptic movie, are
Yeah.
fucking fantastic.
And Deuce Bigelow,
I
the
hate
Mel
Waterworld.
Gigolo.
I don't
I
like
love
Waterworld. Number 5,
You ever throw a
legitimately.
toothpick at a hurricane? You ever
Actually,
spit down the hallway.
speaking of post 9/11 films, number 5
I made a mistake. Did you say steak?
Are you
would probably be the Hills Have Eyes remake. That movie
Oh, okay.
freaked me the fuck
I
out.
love that.
super
We've
bad.
talked about that.
Have
Yeah,
you?
As seen on the Horror House podcast. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That movie freaks me the fuck out.
I think.
and
I think that's on par with
oh
this.
shit,
as far as
House of
remakes
Thousand
go.
Corpses is also really good though.
Jeff may disagree.
Have you
But-
seen 31? Also Rob
31?
Zombie, but it features
Have you seen
a
31
midget
horror
Hitler.
movies?
No, I've not seen 31.
It's fucking bonkers.
But the Hills Have Eyes remake is really good. Oh shit, nope, sorry, not the Hills Have Eyes. The Strangers. The Strangers.
The
with Liv
original
Tyler.
trilogy.
No,
Yeah,
with Liv
no,
Tyler. It's
that's
so
so good.
fucking good.
We
It
got.
is
We've come
such
down
a
to
good
this.
horror movie.
Keep talking. 5,
Number 5.
4,
Oh,
3.
The Strangers is number 5.
Get your
And then the Hills
get your
Have Eyes.
words in real quick.
Yep.
3. Say your goodbye.
Bye.
2. Thank you for joining us this week, Tim. Love you. You're a great guest.
Love you
You're
too.
the best guest.
Bye.
Jeff, Dave. Thanks for joining us once again. Mac, Ray, the Shocker. I prefer one in the tank, one in the stank tank.
2 in the pink, 1 in the stink.
We will see you next week. 2, 1. Goodbye. Go watch Frozen. I don't fucking know.
Frozen.
I don't know. I was gonna say that Wicked movie, but that seemed like too on the nose.
Yeah, but isn't there what's the movie where they're stuck on the ski lift? Isn't that called Frozen as well?
Avengers 2, I think.
Yeah.